Okay, let's actually start with the review. How do you view C9 as a team, and how do you view TSM as a team? Like, tell me what you know about TSM, what you know about C9.
Well, I think they have a lot of teamfight potential, both of them. I think TSM weighs a little bit more heavily on teamfight.
Mm-hmm.
They have individual talent, obviously, with Soren, and I mean, it's been proven that everyone on the team has some kind of talent, some more developed than others.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I feel like we're in a pretty big teamfight meta, so it does fit them, and I think that's really found a lot of success.
Mm-hmm.
C9, on the other hand, they have superstar players like Licorice and Svenskaren, and even Sneaky. I was actually pretty surprised that he was third team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was actually pretty surprised because at the beginning of the season, he was pretty much one of the best ADCs, but I think he fell off. Not even fell off, but just like kind of chilled out towards the end. I don't know what you think about that, but they also have like a lot of I don't know if you would even call Niski young talent because he's been here for a while.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like with TSM, you see like Broken Blade where he's young talent, but I think a lot of these players on C9 are really smart and still learning, but they're also very talented, but it's more calculated on individual lanes. But yeah, I don't know. That's what I think of it.
Okay. So let's go over kind of what you said regarding your description, and I'll talk about stuff I agree with and stuff I disagree with. You talked about TSM being a teamfight team, right? They are a teamfight team with a little bit of a split push from Broken Blade and Bjergsen, but almost every team right now is like a team fighting team, right?
Yeah.
So that's not a very like special description of TSM. What's like something that's very, very different about TSM and like something that they have like that's incredibly like unique to TSM? That's like kind of the stuff you want to bring up as an analyst.
Okay.
So something incredibly unique about TSM is how much they play to their new top laner, Broken Blade. And this is something that's very historically different from what TSM used to be.
Okay.
TSM, when I coached TSM, it was Dyrus and Wild Turtle and Bjergsen, so we were very mid-focused and bot-focused team. In my era, after that, it was Haunter and Doublelift and Bjergsen, and they still remained a very much bottom-focused team. This new look for TSM with Acadian and Broken Blade, and then being a top-sided team, is something very different about this iteration of TSM compared to past iteration. Funnily enough, this series, they actually play towards bot a lot. And then for C9, you talked about them having superstar players.
Yeah.
Agree with you to a certain extent, like Licorice, Svenskaren, probably one of the best players in their roles.
Yeah.
But the superstar, like all-star roster is usually safe for when we talk about TL, right? Because their team is just so much superstar.
Yeah.
One thing that C9 does really, really well as a team is they're very, very coordinated. Like they're the team with the best teamwork in the league. When you see them set up for a Baron, when you see them execute a team fight, it's like they're moving as one piece. So that's something I think that defines Cloud9 and across pretty much ever since they had Reapered a lot. Very good teamwork and ability to work together.
Okay.
What are some like core picks you think we're gonna see in this series, and what's really important?
Well, I feel like it's cheating because I already know I like.
Okay, that's fine. We can still talk about them.
I mean, I think TSM strategy and what was winning for them when they started winning was putting a Canadian on a carry jungler that can get ahead early.
Rek'Sai.
Yeah, so like Rek'Sai, when Rek'Sai came out, he obviously popped off. You're completely right with putting a lot of pressure onto Broken Blade, and because he is probably like the least experienced person on the team, and so like, you know, with Bjergsen and Sven, they can get ahead, so you know, putting him on something that he can carry with, I feel like, I'm trying to remember exactly what he played. Oh, he played, did he play Akali in the series? And he did really well. Yeah. But, I mean, you would assume something like a Kalista for Sven, but I'm pretty sure that's going to get banned in most of the drafts. But I don't know if because what patch is this on?
Okay.
Is this on a new patch?
It's on 7.6.
Okay. But, I mean, as for TSM, for Cloud9, I mean, I feel like support pick across the board is probably going to be, you know, the hard engage. I mean, Smoothie had an amazing series on Alistar versus Echo Fox, and so that's probably going to be a priority. Braum has always been a priority. I don't know if either of them are super big. I know Smoothie plays a good amount of Tahm Kench, but I feel like both of them have pretty similar play styles in each role, and so you're gonna find pretty even matchups. But yeah, Soren. I know Soren for the first 2 games played some like pretty. Well, like he didn't play Lissandra, he didn't play any like hard engaged champs, which he does really well on, and that's where we saw the Akali turnaround, where he can actually just like 1v5 everyone. But I mean, I would assume so. I don't know. I feel like I didn't go over C9 that much, but I feel like Licorice, you can put him on anything, and he can actually just 1v9 at that point. I remember like when we were watching the TSM game in week. What was it, 6 or 7? The second game when he literally, when he 1v5'd on Aatrox when the game was in TSM's favor, and then it just turned it around. So you don't really have to worry about Licorice. But what I thought was interesting was, weren't they like waiting? Like TSM didn't pick their jungle first. They kind of waited to the bottom, and I feel like in a game where there's like less established players like Broken Blade, like Acadian, you should want to get
them on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of their experience. I don't know.
So, in my opinion, the picks that are really important is Rek'Sai. I think in TSM versus Echo Fox series, Acadian looked really great on Rek'Sai and not so great on Jarvan and not so great on Kindred. So Rek'Sai is a comfort pick for him that he's been playing for a while, and it gives him a lot of early priority and a chance for him to actually be a Chad in the jungle and have control, right? Because this is a really important matchup, Svenskeren versus Acadian. Yeah. There's a lot of experience difference. So TSM constantly putting Acadian on Rek'Sai is going to be core for them and making sure he has a good matchup versus Svenskeren. And on the other hand, Niski versus Bjergsen, Niski's the inexperienced one, right? So I would love to see him on his comfort champs that he's very good with, and that doesn't require that much trading and so much playing versus Bjerg. So stuff like Zillion, stuff like Zoe, something that he doesn't have to interact with Bjergsen as much. And yeah, those are the 2 core matchups and 2 core picks that I think we should be looking at.
Okay. I feel like I'm rambling a lot, sorry.
No, it's okay. Alright, let's start. DeMonte, side note, I am an eager beaver.
I saw that too, and I was like, God damn it, Tanner, you should put it like reviewing with an eager beaver.
Well, I think it is incredibly close on both sides, especially with TSM coming in losing.
Let's mute.
Oh, wow.
Alright, do I have it on monitor capture? Yeah, I have it on monitor capture, so let's open up Epic Pen so we can draw.
Oh, wow.
So Silas is what's called a purple side tax. When you're purple side, you have to ban Silas, because Silas is so OP, you can never afford to give it up. So this is a purple side tax. For Lissandra and Irelia, it's something that they're targeting TSM with.
Yeah.
Bjerg had a really great Lissandra series versus Echo Fox, and Irelia a flex pick that they can pick early that can go either lane. And both Broken Blade and Bjergsen create on. What do you think about the blue side picks for TSM, or blue side bans for TSM?
Oh, well, Kindred is obviously a target ban for Svenskeren. Like, he's always done really good on that. Rise is a pretty good flex pick. Actually, I don't know if Licorice has played Rise.
He can play it. I'm not sure if he played it, but I know he can play it.
I'm not completely sure about the Kennen pick. I don't know if he either got buffed or they're trying to pick a comp that... Well, I mean, if they're trying to pick the Jace, Kennen's really good in a Jace, correct?
So Kennen and Rise are carry picks that can kind of actually play against Jace and have threat to him. So that's probably why they're getting banned out.
Okay.
And Jace is so good as a pick because it gives you a lane that you can play towards, that's easily blindable, and that doesn't really lose. What'd you think of all the Sona-Tarics?
Well, so I watched the C9 Academy. Was it C9 Academy?
Yeah, C9 Academy and TSM. TSM Academy played it.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I watched that game, and it was interesting because Sona scales really well. That's why they pick it, correct?
So, it's not because of the scaling. So, Sona and Taric can heal each other in lane, right? And then there's also something called the Frostmancy strategy. It's something we saw with Zillion and Karma Top, where you actually don't farm creeps, and you earn gold with the support blue item.
Oh,
and you have Klepto, and you earn gold by hitting them. So Sona will run that, and Taric will run regular support items. So you will have double Sightstone, unstoppable heal bot, like basically a walking fountain, and also CC and Teamfight.
I see. Okay.
And what's really important when you draft this is you draft carries on top side of the map.
Okay.
So Hecarim, like for jungle, like they're drafting a carry because you're going to be missing damage from bot lane.
Yeah.
But you're going to be bringing utility and CC, so it's really fucking important that damage is coming out.
Hi, Huey. Well, what I was like interested in, because like, okay, the Akali pick makes sense, but like why, like Rek'Sai's up, and so obviously are they trying to have like a specific kind of engage with the Gragas? Because I was confused when I saw this.
Honestly, I'm confused too, because Rek'Sai is one of the most highly prioritized jungle champions right now. Maybe they feel like they need to have hard engage and Gragas brings. So stuff that Gragas brings that Rek'Sai doesn't is hard engage and magic damage. Those are pretty much the only reasons why you take Gragas.
Yeah.
And they probably feel like they need hard engage, because that's the only reason you would take Gragas over Rek'Sai.
Yeah.
Or the AP damage, but they're also picking Akali with it, so the AP damage isn't probably the reason.
Well, I mean, like, why would you pick, like, would not pick J4 just because it's not magic damage?
I honestly, J4 is also a really good solution to it.
Yeah.
I'm just as confused as you are on why they didn't pick it. It could also be a comfort thing, because he didn't look that great on J4. And then they're banning out Galio, something that can go in with Akali, something that can go in with Gragas. Thresh, a comfort pick for Smoothie.
Yeah.
Zillion, it goes really well with like the speed comp, and Gangplank a carry up top lane that we talked about.
Okay.
It's to displace Taric and Sona ult, no? I mean, somewhat, but it's not that useful too. So Poppy, like I played versus I coached versus Licorice in Academy, and he played a lot of Poppy, and it's a comfort champ for him, and it's a great pick into Jace. I will dominate. Using attractive females to make your VOD reviews watchable feels weird, man.
God damn
Dom, I'm glad you think I'm an attractive female, but I'm not interested in you that way. I'm sure there's a lot of girls that might feel differently about you, but thanks for the compliment, though.
God damn it, Christian.
What do you think about Vayne and Lulu?
Well, because like I remember earlier in the season when everyone was picking, like blind picking Vayne, trying to see if it would work. I mean, like I think Sven's been pretty good on it just historically, and so I don't think it's something where it's a big risky pick, but also I don't. It's just weird because like the Callista's up.
Oh damn, Dom! Thank you for the sub. Oh shit, you didn't even sub, Rivenchu. Thank you for the gifted sub.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like this whole team comp was like kind of just a big question mark for me. I mean, like Lulu ult is always like huge in team fights, and so I guess if they want to really isolate Bjergsen or something like that, and just make him run in and just I don't know. It just like it seemed like just a weird comp in my.
The whole like point of taking Vayne Lulu is it's an incredibly scaling duo, right? Vayne Lulu will scale like crazy. Vayne is a crazy team fighter. Lulu will amplify that. Lulu is one of the best scaling supports along with a hyper carry. So their idea on how they're gonna beat this is we're gonna outscale the Sona and Taric, which is a way to go about it, right? That you can try to outscale it, but it's an incredibly hard duo to outscale because their mid game is just so incredibly strong.
Yeah.
If Vayne gets up to, let's say, 4 items or even 5 items, she will this comp will definitely be stronger. But when you're talking 4 item, 5 item Vayne, that's like 40 minutes into the game. So when your outscaling comes 35 minutes, 40 minutes into the game, it's just it's way too late. So this is one like philosophy on how you can beat this. But a lot of times I don't think that's the correct way to approach it to outscale Sona-Taric.
Well, because TSM has historically longer games, so do you think that's what they were trying to use if they're like, if this game's gonna go long?
Yeah, probably. They feel very comfortable scaling up and in late game positions, but it's just not something that I think is feasible versus Cloud9, who have very good early game and very good mid game. As for the other ways to counter it, is stuff like you play Lucian Galio, you play Callista Galio, and you stay very aggressive on it, but if you don't punish it within a certain window, it'll get out of control and it'll be unkillable. So it's a hard bot lane to play versus, and you have to execute very well on it, and I think that's why a lot of teams end up banning it out, because they don't feel like they have the level of execution to be able to punish it properly. I'm very curious to see if teams like Griffin or SKT will pull it out in LCK finals, because in LCK finals, if we see stuff like this, I'm very sure that Korean teams will go straight to Kalista Galio, Lucian Galio, or All-Star plus Kalista to try to punish this really heavily. Okay, Niski on Zoe, that's a very big comfort pick for him. And I've been in this kind of situation where you have rookies in playoff situations or high intense moments, and it's very, very important to make them comfortable. Kaisa could have been a better option. Galio banned forehead. Yeah, I know Galio is banned, but I also think TSM would rather play to upscale it than to... I know Niski is not a rookie. What I meant is newer players in tough situations. He's not new. He's very new to C9, and he's very new to this kind of stage. He is definitely on the newer side. What do you think is... So, a good place to start VOD review is, what do you think is the win condition of each team?
Okay, wow, that's a... Shoot, oh, Broken Blade to Kali, okay. Well, I think Zoe's really good at getting picks, and so that's going to be really important, especially if she could burst down the Vayne and the Lulu, actually, really easily. And so if they can't get ahead, then Sneaky and Zeyzal will just overrun the lane. I feel like NA Jace is always a toss-up, but... I mean, it's always a toss-up, but I think Soren has played like pretty well in it historically, so it's not like it's a huge question mark. I think with the whole like... Well, I don't know. I feel like it's weird. Why is there's a like... Because does Poppy's W block Akali's dash?
It blocks every dash.
So why would they... Is it just like, is Akali better into Poppy than Jace is, but they're still both bad into it?
So Jace versus Zoe, depending on what jungler you have, you can actually put a lot of pressure on Zoe. Because Jace is incredibly strong 1v1, and Zoe kind of struggles with champions that can gap close. And Jace, whenever he turns hammer form, he gets speed and he can Q on you. With speed, he can jump on the Zoe. So Jace and Gragas can actually put a lot of pressure on Zoe. That's probably why they
She's pretty immobile, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, like, I think for C9, like, Svensker and... I mean, if Hecarim gets fed, he can just run around and then literally just end everybody. And so, that'll be a thing. Zoe roaming, I mean, Licorice doesn't really have to do too much, essentially. And then with TSM, yeah, getting bot lane ahead.
So, to specify it a little bit more, C9's only win condition is going to be teamfight. Because Poppy is not someone that can split push, nor is Zoe. So when both solo laners can't split push, your only way to win is when you're grouped. So it either becomes about team fighting or poke. Like if you have two poke champions, your win condition can be poke. But look at the solo lanes and that will give you an idea on what they want to do. So this is a team fight comp. They're going to want a team fight. What do you think about TSM?
I feel like, I don't know, I could be wrong. I feel like they have no huge front line. And so they can just get bursted really easily. So it's going to be getting objectives and then split pushing?
So Akali definitely wants to split push.
Yeah.
It's a split pusher. What do you think Jace wants to do?
Roam?
He wants to roam, but between split pushing and team fighting, what do you think he wants to be?
I mean, he could do a lot of burst damage, and so...
It's okay, just throw it out
I guess team fighting. I mean, like if you get like Lulu to ult, either him or Vayne, and then follow up with burst damage, or like he would be really good with like flanking or something like that. Yeah. No. I don't know, dude.
No, it's okay.
I'm trying to think about this analytically, and I'm just like, oh. There's so much to think about, you know?
Thing is, you're going to get a lot of stuff wrong at first, and that's just part of doing something new and doing something you haven't done before. And if you don't do it, then you're just not going to improve on it. So it's okay to be wrong and throw your opinion out there. And this was actually a really hard question. So Lulu Vayne, their win condition is team fight. These two want a team fight. while Akali can teamfight, she's often better off in a split push situation. And then Jace also is in like the team fight, and because he's not running TP, it's hard for him to split. He can split, like TSM can go into a 1-3-1 with Jace and Akali, but it can be incredibly difficult because these are very vulnerable champions, and C9 has a comp that can really run them down. So they have a win condition in super late game team fighting and somewhat in split push. And Gragas fits into both. He can help with split pushers, he can help with team fighting. But their comp is very murky.
Yeah.
Like, they don't really do things together. Like, Akali really wants to be split, where Vayne and Lulu really wants to be in a team fight.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's why I feel like, because, like, okay, so say Akali's up top splitting, and then, like, a team fight breaks out mid, they're going to instantly just, like, out-damage everyone. Especially with, like, hard engage by, like, a Hecarim.
Yeah.
So, maybe that's...
This is actually, what is it? Not that great of a draft from TSM.
Yeah.
So their win condition is 1-3-1 and team fight, but it's murky on both ends. How well do you know kind of jungle patterns?
I now know the term vertical jungling because I used it a million times this weekend.
What is vertical jungling?
It's where instead of taking your whole side, you just go up and down.
What's it good for?
Placing deep wards.
Yeah. So one thing that vertical jungling achieves, right, is called split map situation. So this upper sandwich triangle is going to belong to C9, right?
Okay.
So Akali has to play very safe because it belongs to C9.
Yeah.
And vice versa. This triangle is going to belong to TSM, right? Because Gragas vertical jungle bottom.
Yeah.
And you can see how much Lulu and Vayne pushed up because of the jungle and because they know they can't get ganked. And vice versa, Poppy did the same thing. She pushed up because she knows she can't get ganked.
Okay.
So whichever side you split the map towards, that side lane gets a lot of help, and they get to play out the lane very freely.
Okay. Do you think they already go into the game do they go into the game knowing that, or is it just more like
80% of the time, yeah, and and when the enemy initiates vertical jungling on you, oh man, sneaky in lane law. Oof. Okay, but ends up being a 1-for-1 trade. So when enemy initiates the vertical jungling on you, like most of the time your best reply is to just vertical jungle the other side. So if one team really wants to vertical jungle and they have the stronger jungler, it's kind of like forced onto you, right? But so a lot of times the team that wants to initiate will know, and the team that doesn't want to initiate it, they're just replying to it. So one team definitely knows if they do want to do it, and the other team is replying. Okay, we can skip through the pause.
Yeah, there was like 3 pauses in this series.
Yeah.
Wait, so when they're paused, they can't talk at all, right?
You can only talk to the ref, and you can't talk to your teammates.
Interesting.
Because they don't want pause to be like a tactical pause time where you talk about what you're going to do in the game.
Yeah.
Who's that on my right? That's my sister.
Yep. Hi, TJ. He's using my email. Look.
Oh.
So cute.
Where do you think we're going to see, what kind of action we're going to see in early game? Like, towards what side?
Well, it seems like C9 has pretty much control of both rivers. You can see by, like, the wards that they placed out. I think Gragas just killed off a ward, but I know he's going after Dragon. But, yeah, they're both collapsing on that. So, this was what I think... Actually, no, it wasn't this one. There was a point where, like, Matt started Dragon, and, like, 4 people just collapsed. Actually, it probably was this. Yeah. And I was just like, wait. Yeah, I feel like C9 just has, like, pressure right now. And then since they were bought, Broken Blade knew he could go in, and he outdamaged his Poppy, so if he was able to burst her because she's not tanky enough yet.
Yeah. I thought this was such a weird counter jungling from Acadian. He's weaker than Sven. His bot lane has prio, but I just didn't think he could be here.
Well, I just thought it was weird because he cleared out a ward, and then I think he got spotted by the other ward that was in Tribush, and then so it just like, I just thought it was interesting because he still has some of his camps up, and so it's like, unless his red just came up. Chad
mentality. And then for top side, Licorice getting solo killed by Broken Blade was actually really bad as Poppy. Like when you're playing the tank side, it's so important to not get killed, because once you get killed, the matchup actually opens up so much for the carry side in almost every carry tank matchup, where if the tank dies once, the matchup changes completely, where the tank can die over and over and over again. So he knocks him out. Oh, okay. Did you see what happened here?
Okay. So he hits the. Does he hit the last of it?
So he hits the E, right?
Yeah.
And it marked the target. It marked this creep.
Yeah.
So he jumps back on the E, and then he was able to chase him down.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Jesus, okay. Did you see the post on Reddit that was talking about the player reaction cam?
Yeah.
That was actually funny because I was watching that too, and some people were just like so straight faced, and I'm like, this is just kind of awkward. Interesting. Okay. So like if he wouldn't have got the E down, that would be good, but since he did, okay.
That was really good on Broken Blade's part, because he probably predicted, oh, he's going to hammer me as soon as I teleport in here. If I mark a creep, I'm going to be able to jump back and do it. And he was actually able to do it. This is a very, very TSM play. Like this, going for blue at this point in the game. So why some teams have certain plays they do over and over again is Bjergsen's very vocal about this. Like pressure them on the second blue. So that's why every iteration of TSM you see, they'll do this play. And they'll do this play to a fault even, because I don't think contesting this blue was that great. Like they were in a situation where they had bottom prio, they had decent mid prio, they could just done Ocean Drake. But they're very, very laser focused about always contesting second blue.
Interesting.
So one thing that people say a lot that makes you a good analyst, or that's kind of like an analyst test, is if you're able to identify teams with their name tags turned off. Because there will be a certain play style that TSM always does, certain play style that C9 does. If you're ever doing that test, this is one easy way to check for TSM. Like laser focus on second blue and constantly playing towards it is a very TSM way to play. Then we can go back and look at this kill. Alright, let's see what's going on. Looks like Bjergsen's playing forward because he feels confident that he can kill Niski with Acadian backing him up. Remember what we talked about? Zoe's actually a vulnerable pick versus the Jace. But Svenskeren did a really good job of covering here.
Yeah.
Places down the Redemption, able to go on top of Bjerg. Damn, Bjerg burning stopwatch there was actually pretty bad. And then Smoothie was coming to help, forced to burn flash.
Yeah. I know they get dragged because of it.
Yeah, so far it's really good from C9. And then Sona, remember, running the Frost Fancy thing, so she's not really CSing. She's only picking up CS before she has to go to base, or picking up cannon minions. So she's only at 33 CS.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not too familiar on that whole strategy, but it was interesting to watch.
He is so stone face. He's just chewing gum. Tree Dawn, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub.
Hey.
C9 is very front to back team fighting focused. They are very team fighting focused, and they play very aggressive drafts with a lot of flanks. What do you think we're gonna see next? What are both teams looking for?
Well, they're probably gonna. I mean, this might be stupid. I don't know. They're probably. Well, they seem like in mid at least, there's been a lot of attention around there, especially from Acadian, and so they're gonna probably try to get as many turret plates as possible. Because I'm not completely familiar with the rule with like turret plates. Do you have to be next to the plate to get the gold, or is it team gold?
So turret plating is local, so you have to be near the turret to be able to get the gold, but you can hit it and then be far away. As long as you hit it and you're in the local vicinity, you will get the gold. Okay. What time does turret place run out?
It's 15, no?
You're very close, 14 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now, what both teams are going to look for, and especially from TSM's end, is because they have Akali so ahead, right? And Herald's still up, and it's before 14 minutes. Herald is something that TSM really wants to take, because they have control on top side. Boss side is actually incredibly hard. Lulu Vayne hasn't fully scaled up yet. So they want to play towards top side, and they really want to get the Herald. As for Cloud9, they want to prevent the Herald and kind of play along with Hecarim. Like, Hecarim's in such a great spot right now. You can see kind of TSM like wasting time bottom, right?
Yeah, I was going to say.
they should be on top side of the map and actually playing for Herald because of Akali having so much priority, but this like playing around bot side is making C9 very, very happy. Licorice gets to get out of his shitty spot, he gets to teleport, and he gets to play for 2 kills here in Acadian and Smoothie.
Yeah.
And also TSM's not taking Herald with Broken Blade so far ahead.
Yeah, I see that. Okay.
Where C9's getting to play their game, TSM's not getting to play their game at all.
Yeah. Spencer is just getting incredibly fed.
Yep.
So even with the Conqueror nerfs that came out, it's still one of the best things to put on Rek'Sai, and like obviously Hecarim.
If you're gonna fight a lot, Conqueror is one of the best.
Okay.
But if you're gonna be bursty, Electrocute is better.
Well, yeah, because who brought out Hail of Blades? Was that an EU?
Yeah, Selfmade was playing Hail of Blade Rek'Sai.
Okay. So remember, I was watching it and I was like, oh wow, someone's actually playing Hail of Blades right now.
So this mid turret is actually the single most valuable turret in the game, and then getting this opens up the game a lot. And Bjergsen being down 2 kills and Svenskeren being able to come mid and constantly kill Bjerg resulted in this, and it's going to open up the game a lot from C9.
Yeah.
You'll see casters talk about mid turret a lot. It's one of the most important things.
Yeah.
What'd you think of this team fight just now?
I was trying to watch it all.
Alright, we can slow it down and watch it together.
Okay, well, TSM is definitely more in the vicinity. I mean, you have sneaky backing, and so he doesn't have TP. Oh, he does, never mind. Just kidding. So I guess he could TP into the fight because his TP just came up. But, I mean, they go for the shutdown goal on Hecarim, get that done, and he was the main damage dealer at that point. So once he got that, and then is Zoe still alive? Yeah. I mean, that's a huge damage component, and I feel like because it's like, I'm not familiar on the Sona-Taric.
They're not a lot of damage. They're
that's because like you said, like they scale in like mid game.
Yeah, so think of them as like walking fountains. They can give you a lot of HP, a lot of shields, a lot of heals, but they also provide CC. So they're very heavily focused on utility. And when your AD carry or your mid lane dies, like you don't have damage in a fight.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that when Svenskeren dies.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Because their bot duo is not a lot of damage.
Yeah, and you don't have to disengage with Licorice anymore.
Yeah.
So I think you just gotta retreat from that point.
So Niski went in for a poke there, and Bjergsen had cleanse, and then he was able to flash out from here. And now Broken Blade, he bought so much time by using Shroud. And then he went back into the Shroud. He's just buying time, allowing the rest of his team to catch up. And then at the end, going for Hecarim, who was kind of stuck. And he was just so baited into, I want to kill this Akali, I want to kill this Akali. And the rest of his team was pretty far away. And then now they're getting cleaned up. This is what makes Akali so dangerous in a fight. You can't ignore her, but also you can't focus her. So good Akalis, like going in and out of Shroud, is extremely hard to play versus. And what teams will do when they're good is they'll focus Akali very early in the fight and try to chain CC her and kill her. Or if not, just force her Shroud out and try to ignore her and kill other targets. This next Inferno is important for both teams, and they're going to fight for it because both teams are focused around team fighting. Inferno is really huge. So why do you think Cloud9 got this, even though TSM was the team that came out ahead in the team fight?
Because, well, both of them are, they're just positioning. Both of them are in base. Smoothie's recalling right now. Sven is in base. Akali's top side, he does have his TP, but he's not going to go in solo. And it looks like, I don't know if they were rotating to get their blue or because Herald's, is Herald still? No, Herald's not up. Or is it up? I can't see
I'll screech a little bit so you're not
Herald's, I don't remember exactly what happens from here, but like if they rotate towards Herald, I guess, because that's what they're looking at least. It looks like from here they're just trying to go over there, but I guess if they want to put more pressure on the top lane because top turret is almost down and do that, but I think at this point Infernal will be more important.
Okay, so the things to consider is, I think TSM kind of gave this up on purpose, because if they're fighting for this Inferno, it's incredibly important that Lulu and Vayne back early after the fight, as like the Poppy's coming up, the Hecarim's coming up, but they're not backing, they're choosing to stay. So they probably said something along the lines of, we don't have ults, Acadian doesn't have ult, Broken Blade doesn't have ult, Vayne doesn't have ult, Lulu doesn't have ult, let's just give this up. So they're staying and farming. And they're not even walking to it, they're walking the other way and they're going for it. So this is something they proactively gave up. But if they do want to fight for this, it's incredibly important that the Lulu and the Vayne back right after the team fight. That's where like tempo is really big, and you'll hear teams talk about and analysts talk about tempo all the time. Tempo means how fast are you on the map, like are you strong, like if everyone on the map, did everyone buy it, like do you have the timing required to make the next play? And TSM purposely didn't play for tempo there because of their ult. Interesting,
yeah, and then they go for Herald, but I feel like this is just like kind of bad positioning because they still don't have actually they all have their ults. Damn, I forgot this was like ×2. I'm like, do they not have their ults? But I mean, it's still pretty high health, so they could contest this, or, well, because what you were talking about with mid, couldn't they just go mid and then try to pressure tier 2? Because like the wave's not there yet, so they could just stop it early and then start pressuring that. If they want to get Herald, they can. I don't remember if they do.
So, because also TSM wave is really far away. It's right here, right?
Yeah.
It's going to take a long time for the wave to get from here to there. And C9, or my bad, C9's wave is really far away. It's here. So it's going to take a long time for the wave to go from here all the way to turret. TSM doesn't feel very scared, and also they clear out the wave before they do this. So there's actually a good 20-second, 30-second window for TSM to start this. And then the only reply C9 has is to come and fight it, which C9 isn't too sad about doing. Like, they are a teamfight team, and this is something they are going to look for. So it looks like Svenskar and ult should be up or coming up, so they're going to be pretty confident. They have all their ults.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's watch. Slow it down. Licorice getting the knock away on Smoothie. Sona actually
why was it on Smoothie versus, because they were still kind of clumped, and I think he could have hit at least 2 people if like he did. I mean, I guess if he scooted a little bit more, they could just burst him down.
So one thing is if he tries to go in more, right? Smoothie can hex and then it cancels in.
Oh, okay.
So he's probably just trying to do it on Smoothie. Smoothie probably might have even used Hex and they could have traded. Yeah, so you see how Smoothie Hex?
Yeah.
So Hex has a little bit of a travel time.
Okay.
So they did it at the same time, so the ult went off. But if he tries to go in deeper and try to get the hammer off, he's going to get it canceled by the Hex.
Okay, I see.
So kind of a 50-50 here. Acadian in a shitty spot. And then this is such a good preemptive ult by Zeyzal. When Acadian comes out, they can't reply and try to fight. And then Licorice bought time over here, fighting Bjergsen and Broken Blade, and then he flashed over. So this was just really well played from C9. And also, one thing that's very interesting about C9 comp is there's not a lot of good targets to focus, and it is really hard to focus. Even someone like the Zoe, when she has her flash up and her ult up, and they have so much defensive tools, right? So when they're in this giant death ball and they start rolling, it's really hard to play against. It's a very face roll comp once you get going.
I see.
Why does it feel like TSM are the ones trying to force the fights by going for Herald? Shouldn't it be C9 trying to force the fight? TSM feels like, and they are the scaling side, but they also can't not be proactive. They can't just give up things to C9. It's when C9 took Dragon, so if TSM just sits there doing nothing, then C9's getting an objective, they're going to go back to their lanes. It just gets better and better for C9. TSM, like, as the losing team, if you give up things and you don't make proactive moves, it's really hard to come back, and you're just making the lead bigger and bigger and bigger. Are we on double speed? Okay, now we're on double speed. I misread
the title too. Thought it was Kelsey Remige. Yes, guys, I wish I had the analytical skills of Kelsey Remige.
Well, at this point, what do you think is important in the game?
Well, Well, I think what TSM doesn't want is C9 to get Baron.
Mm-hmm.
And since Baron just came up, that's going to be starting, or C9 is going to be starting to put down vision and try to draw a lot of attention so that TSM comes over and spends a lot of time there. They have mid pushing. Well, I mean, now they cleared out mid, but like they could have mid pushing, and so the more time they spend at Baron, the less time they're spending mid, and so you can put pressure there. Akali's actually doing work in the bottom lane, and I guess they're trying to get that. But I feel like I don't know why they wouldn't just try and get mid versus. I mean, I guess because there's a lot of attention right now in mid, so it's like trying to get it away. And Akali's winning that matchup right now, so I guess try to isolate the Poppy.
So you're asking why TSM doesn't just go for mid?
Yes.
Be confident.
Yes, like group mid. Yeah, group mid. And because like if like C9 starts rotating over towards Baron, they can also rotate towards Baron. They're not super far away because, well, they both have their TPs right now, so I guess they can spend time bot lane, and if there is a fight, they can use their TPs on that. But
so your question is why doesn't TSM 5-man mid?
Yeah, because I mean like, or not 5-man so much because Poppy's obviously down there as well. But they don't have any disengage necessarily from C9 at the moment. So, like, if you burst down the Zoe, if you burst down the Hecarim, especially with Bjergsen, well, I mean, because Broken Blade's down there too, so it's like you lose a lot of your damage. But if you get a good engage on the Zoe, you can burst her down immediately with both the Lulu and where's Sven in this?
Sven is probably right here. Yeah, the Vayne's right there.
Okay. I don't know. I would think they're trying to get a pick and knock down either Zoe or Hecarim and then try to get mid tower. And then if they need it, Broken Blade can TB in.
Amen. So let's go over all those a little. So as you talked about, Baron control is really important as soon as Baron spawns. And Baron is how you win the game. Baron is how you take inhibitor. Almost everything in League of Legends post 20 minutes revolves around Baron. Teamfights around Baron. If you're split pushing, you're actually trying to draw attention, so you can send people to Baron while someone deals with you. So number one focus on Baron is correct. And then the other question regarding why TSM doesn't have 4 mid and just Akali bottom. It's actually this. Remember what we talked about? This turret is super important because it provides so many parts of the map. So C9's vision looks something like this because they took mid turret.
Yeah.
While TSM's vision cannot go past this turret, so their vision is always just halfway.
Yeah.
So taking this turret is actually really important for TSM. And when C9 dudes are here, it's very like they're gonna be very good about being protected. TSM has to take this loop and they can protect this really easily. Make sure TSM can't come in through here.
Yeah.
So when you're in mid lane defending turret, it's very, very hard to break. Okay. So breaking it early is really valuable. And another bad thing about TSM kind of forcing it here, let's say they're making like this to hit the turret. This angle is really vulnerable, Poppy coming in. This angle, Hecarim coming in. There's another angle here. Okay. There's so much angle, so whenever you're sieging mid, it's really hard to do unless you have good vision and you know where everyone is.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
One thing that's going to happen is map's going to kind of flatline for a little bit, and both teams going to fight for vision. And if one person steps up too much, or if they don't catch Poppy or Akali rotating, then there might be a kill.
Okay.
Or if Niski hits Bubble on Vayne, who doesn't have Cleanse, that might be a kill.
Yeah. Would there be a reason that Sven doesn't take, well, because Smoothie took Ignite. What's the reason behind their summoner spell choices?
I actually think Sven can take Cleanse here, and Cleanse is really good. There's so many things he can cleanse off, so...
Well, is there, like, for Smoothie, is it just, like, for higher damage?
For Ignite? Yeah, I mean, your verse is Sona-Taric, right? Yeah. And it's awkward for people to get Morello. Executioners is an easy buy. It's just an 850 gold investment, where Morello is much more expensive. Yeah. So earlier on, like, if you don't have Ignite versus a heal comp, then you're so fucking screwed. Okay. And later on, when you get Morello, like, Ignite isn't as needed, but you don't start with Morello. That's why they take Ignite.
I see.
Yeah, but you can see both teams fighting for mid pressure, mid priority, really important. And then looks like they're gonna play for the dragon. So this choke is super important for C9. Like, them using Sona ult here, them using Hecarim ult here, Taric stun here, Zoe bubble here. It's a narrow choke that TSM has to focus into to actually be able to walk across. So they're going to do their best to not let TSM walk in through this choke. Zoning them out. So TSM instead is taking the other wide path around here.
Yeah.
Now they're in the wide river, right?
Yeah.
Walking into chokes are really dangerous, and you'll see good teams try to force the other team into it.
Yeah.
Now they do have a wide angle that they can play at. Oof.
Yeah, I was really confused about that.
Okay.
I remember watching that. Well, not confused, but I was just like, this was interesting because like I don't know if he tried to go in for like a certain engage onto like the onto the Zoe. That would make sense. But does he have his ult? He just used it. Does it knock anyone back?
Yeah, it knocks Zoe back.
Okay.
But he didn't.
But I feel like at that point, like you're already getting out damaged by everyone else.
And Zayza ult right away, so he's protected. Zayza's just so fucking good. Sneaky ult. Yeah, I mean, that was a decent engage attempt by Acadian, but honestly not really. Like, trying to isolate a target when they're grouped like that. Remember what we talked about, that death ball?
Yeah.
It's incredibly hard to deal with. So C9's kind of just letting TSM beat themselves because they know, like, oh, if we don't do anything, they're going to take Dragon. Oh, if we don't do anything, they're going to take Baron. So TSM kind of forced to engage.
Yeah.
And then they dealt with C9 pushing inhibitor by starting Baron, but C9 just reacted and be like, okay, we're not going to push
especially with all the speed, it's like,
yeah,
they really don't have a chance at that point.
So next thing that's going to happen is now C9 is going to start playing around Baron, and TSM's going to be forced to check into them.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to be able to deal with Hecarim, Sona-Taric, Poppy, Zoe, like running them down.
Well, yeah, so you said how like Poppy's not a split pushing champion right now, but she has TP. Would it be smart, since like they are at the outer turret for base? Would it be smart for Poppy to be split pushing and then never mind, they just take the mid. Never mind. Because I was saying, like, if they try to go for Baron, because Poppy still does have her TP until right now.
Yeah, they can send Poppy here, and what they can do is force Akali to come down, and Poppy can TP behind them. If you have a split pusher with TP, even when she is a tank, it's fine to have them in the side lane.
Okay.
Why I say Poppy split pushing is not a win condition.
Yeah.
So Poppy can provide pressure with TP flank, but she can never take the turret, right?
Yeah.
It's going to take her forever, so that's not a true win condition. You can't win through Poppy split pushing.
Yeah.
She had to flash immediately because it was a dangerous spot. C9 doesn't even feel the need to Baron because they got the inhibitor turret early. And they can just rush down. But yeah, remember what we talked about, when C9 plays as like their death ball?
Yeah.
It's really hard to do anything. Now they have the inhibitor down, they can go to Baron, really hard for TSM to reply. And when TSM replies, as we talked about, C9 will fight on these chokes. They'll either finish Baron, or they'll fight them as they're coming in through the choke. As you're coming into the choke, why it's so hard is it's very narrow.
Yeah.
So Acadian doesn't have a lot of space to dodge.
Yeah.
Versus here, he has a lot of space to dodge anywhere. So you can see that's why he got hit by the poke there. And then when jungler's that low, like, what can you do? You can't walk to Baron.
That's just where the game ends, right?
Yeah. How's that Vayne scaling going? This is what I mean regarding, like, scale. Like, they never got to scale. They never got to the point where it mattered.
Yeah.
And C9's Death Ball came online.
Yeah.
And it was over. What do we think about this comp? Let's go over both sides.
Well, so J4's flag and drag can be interrupted by the Umbro, correct?
By what?
By Rek'Sai's Umbro. Because I feel like I see this matchup a lot. And is there like a particular reason why it's seen a lot? Besides just Rek'Sai being OP?
Rek'Sai is OP, so we see Rek'Sai a lot, right?
Yeah.
J4 is a champion that can beat Rek'Sai at level 2, because Rek'Sai is not actually that strong when she doesn't have all 3 of her skills.
Yeah.
You play Rek'Sai a lot.
Yeah.
So at level 2, you're kind of weak. So J4 can actually contest level 2, and level 2 is a really big point because it means you can contest her on the scuttles.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why you see Jarvan into Rek'Sai a decent amount. And also, Jarvan's one of the easiest champions to play right now. So there's something called glue champions. So glue champions are champions with engage and CC. And you need glue champions on your team. So in both comps, like who would be glue champions for you?
You said the
engage and CC.
Engage and CC. Well, the Ashe obviously with her ult.
That's a glue champion.
Morgana obviously with her bind and her ult. Gangplank with his ult is it CC? Is it not? Is it just
not
damage?
Really.
No. Well, and then I guess Pumpkinch is anti-CC.
Yeah, these are the two glue champions for C9. What about TSM?
Varus with his ult.
Yep.
And then Braum.
Braum is kind of a glue champion, yeah. And then Jarvan also, because he has engage and CC, right?
Oh yeah, with the engage as well, yeah.
Yeah. So you need glue champions, and if you don't have glue champions, your comp becomes harder and harder to play, and it becomes really hard to play from behind. Glue champions will help your comp be easier to play, and it'll provide you like just things that are necessary in every comp. Sometimes you'll see Korean teams play without glue champions, and they'll be playing all these priority champions without any CC, and that's because they feel confident enough that they will not fall behind, and they can solve problems through split pushing. In NA, when you see comps without glue champions, most likely than not, that team will lose.
So TSM right now, they're using it as like, so you have J4 for the engage, you have the Varus ult for the engage. I mean, you even have Braum ult for the engage, but then they're trying to follow up with the, like in the perfect team fight situation, you get Kennen ult, and then backline from Bjergsen, and then just to finish everyone off.
I mean, perfect engage would be like Acadian engages, Kennen comes in from the side, and Varus and Quirky are shooting at them. That would be like perfect for TSM. Kennen always wants to come in from the side.
So this is more of like a more team fight.
Yeah, very much a team fight.
Instead of the other one, which was kind of like a 1-3-1 team fight. Okay.
The other comp was just really bad.
And so with this, well, they have a bunch of globals on this. I see C9 do this a lot, where they try to pick for a lot of globals, and so is there a thing where it's like, okay, so like TSM is playing for like a team fight comp, but C9 is trying to almost like counter that? Does that make sense?
By playing globals?
Is that a thing?
So they can split push with GP. GP is a good split pusher, right?
Yeah.
He can actually do damage to turret even though he's melee, because when you put the barrels down, you go boom, and then barrels can push out the other guy, and you can actually do damage to turret.
Yeah.
So GP is a split pusher, and also Kench helps with split push, so they can run, this is what's called a 4-1 comp.
Okay.
So TSM also has a 4-1 comp, but their 4-1 is a little bit weaker because it's Kennen in a side lane, and also they're playing versus Kench and GP and Rek'Sai, who can really help the side lane. Rek'Sai is a great champion for diving a side lane. Like, you're in the side lane, and Rek'Sai shoots his Q, and then you already feel so threatened because you're like, holy shit, he can ult on me at any moment. I'm like kind of half HP. You have to back up. And also, Rek'Sai is just very good when he's sitting there unburrowed or burrowed, because you also see people approaching. So you can account for numbers very well, even when you don't have a lot of vision on that side.
Yeah.
So yeah, they both have a 4-1 comp, but C9 has a stronger split. So C9 is going to try to 4-1 more, where TSM is going to try to team fight more.
Okay.
Also, someone's asking about Lethality Varus. Yeah, they can go Lethality Varus for poke, but C9 is going to be really good about clearing waves, and they have a very good engage system, and Ashe. Like, Ashe is, like, the thing that counters poke is engage, and Ashe is one of the best. Like, Ashe just shoots the arrow. Kench does help with that a lot, but let's see how this game plays out. I watched all these games, but not in detail. It's very different watching at the studio and then watching in front of your computer where you can rewind. What do you think the coaches are telling the players before?
They're probably just talking about their win condition, yeah?
Yeah, talking about the win condition, talking about common mistakes that players make, and also talking about, I believe in you guys, we're going to win.
Yeah. What do you think about the whole Reaper Coach of the Split?
I actually have a video coming out on it. I think Coach the Split is a very hard award because genuinely, truly, genuinely, I'm not sure how much Reaper did. I'm not sure how much Tony did because I'm not working in TSM right now. I'm not working in C9 right now. So it's a lot of guesswork and it's a lot of just talking to people in the scene and talking to people that work at LCS and also kind of seeing what they do. But it's not an easy award to really point
Oh my gosh. Oh wait, just kidding.
Ribbon Chew.
Clayton actually subscribed, but once again he gets it gifted.
Ribbon Chew, thank you so much for the gifted sub to Captain Flowers.
Hi Clayton. Nice to see you. I don't know how long you've been here, but...
You've been here a while.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't been looking at chat, honestly. I'm too scared to look at chat. So,
they actually haven't been mean to you.
Yay, thanks chat. I'm learning. There's so much to think about. Holy crap, dude.
What do you mean?
Just like, you know, like obviously like I knew there was a lot of things to think about, but the way you talk about stuff is just like there can be like a 10-second span and like 90 things happening at that point. And like as a coach, you got to think about all those things. Like when you do VOD reviews and like you write it all down because it's only like well usually I have like 2 coaches and then like a couple analysts and stuff like that, but there's just so many things happening.
Well, a lot of things as I'm watching the game, like I don't have to consciously do because I've watched and played League for like 9 years now. So I'm definitely at a point where I can just watch and talk and analyze. Like it's not gonna be that easy for you at first, and you're gonna have to be very conscious about it.
Yeah.
But that's like the thought exercise, right? Like I ask you these questions, we talk about what you're thinking about, we talk about what I'm thinking about, and hopefully you get to learn stuff, you get to talk about the game differently, you get to think about the game differently too. She should understand what each champion wants to do, not what they can do. And that's basically the same thing, what they can do, what they want to do. What do you think Jungle's going to be doing earlier on?
Well, Rek'Sai is an extremely early game champ, and so she's going to try to go for ganks. As soon as she hits 3, I mean, her tunnel flash is like a huge tool, and she could pretty much get a easy kill off that instantly. But I guess J4's main task is going to be to try and watch that. But okay, so they were trying to do vertical jungling because then it came in and take his blue, but Svenskeren didn't take Matt's blue. So
alright, this one's a little bit complicated, so I'll break it down.
Because he went from buff to buff, yeah?
Yeah, so let's talk about all the little things that happen. So level 1, they kind of push up, right?
Yeah.
And Svenskeren wears this and runs out because he's afraid of the combination of Braum, Jarvan, and Kennen walking in.
Yeah.
Whenever you see Braum, one thing you can know right away is the Braum side 90% of the time wins level 1.
Yeah.
So Svenskeren is very scared about them pushing in and getting a deep ward, so he just gets a shallow ward here. And Acadian now knows where the ward is.
Okay.
And then the other thing that we talked about, Rek'Sai is weak at level 2, right?
Yeah.
So what Acadian's doing here is by taking red, and then he's going here, he's able to dodge Svenskeren's ward. He does this on purpose. He hops this ward not just to save time, but to dodge this. So if Svenskeren is doing something like red double golem scuttle, he's able to fight him. Like level 2 Jarvan to Rek'Sai, Jarvan will beat Rek'Sai. So he's not doing scuttle, so he can hop over, places a ward to know if Rek'Sai is coming around this side, able to do blue buff, and then take scuttle. Because Svenskeren cannot be on the map at level 2 and fight Acadian. He's trying to play away from him much as possible while getting his level 3.
So he just cleared his bot side?
Yeah, he clears his bot side.
So he doesn't even get the scuttle?
Yeah, he doesn't get the scuttle.
Isn't that like pretty bad?
But it's you kind of have to be creative, and you kind of have to really worry about Rek'Sai versus Jarvan earlier on in the game as the Rek'Sai. Also, do you know why he did this particular 3?
I mean, I would assume because like he knows that Matt saw the ward being placed in Tribush, so it's like he could either be on his bot side or he can be in his top side jungle, and so instead of going into one of those and having the possibility of getting killed, it's better just to clear your bot side and get the level 3 and then go in from there?
So one thing really important about doing this 3 is it gives you a pathway into getting back onto your top side of the jungle while hitting level 3.
Okay.
Any combination of double golem plus 2 camps will give you level 3. Yeah. But you need to take double golems. So this is the most natural pathing to go up to the top side of the map to not give it up. Because one thing that can happen is if he leaves Kennen versus GP and Jarvan, if he does vertical jungling, the GP will get dove. Okay. GP is a weak champion that scales up.
Yeah.
So he has to jungle topside to be able to protect the GP.
I see. Oh, okay.
So even though he's losing out on stuff topside, right, and he can't fight Acadian at level 2, he's kind of forced to do this pathing to be able to defend the GP.
Okay, that makes sense.
So jungling is like a whole lot of little information, right?
Yeah.
I need to know why Svenskerin's not fighting level 2, then that means I need to know the Jarvan Rek'Sai matchup. Then I also need to know, GP can be dove by Kennen. And then now here Acadian's Acadian's scared to fight Svenskeren because they have bottom prio and also Svenskerin's level 3 now. Okay. But like early jungle pathing is it's one of the hardest things to analyze because you need to know jungle, you need to know laning, you need to know level 1. Revive Dudley, thank you so much for the sub, man.
Wow. Get all them subs.
Did you know the Rek'Sai level 3 thing? You play a lot of jungle. Okay. Did you know the level 2 you can't beat Jarvan thing?
Level 2 you can't. I remember you can't really beat a lot of champs.
Yeah.
I mean, because I used to play a lot of Camille, and you wouldn't see Rek'Sai a lot at that time because she was still pretty trash. But I feel like a lot of people in my elo also just don't know how to fight in river, and so I can still at least abuse them. Well, because the biggest thing, and especially my elo that I've taken, because I remember I was talking to Dan about it, and he said save your smite for scuttle, and a lot of people in my elo don't do that, and they smite their first camp, and so their scuttle's on cooldown, or their smite's on cooldown, so I can steal the scuttle easily if they even try to fight me, and that's what usually I do in games.
What'd you think of this gank?
Okay, let me rewatch. That was a good flash combo, Jesus Christ. Because, okay, so they have no...
W flash Q.
Yeah. Oof. That was really good.
But it's really hard to go kill when it's Tom Kench with cleanse. He didn't even burn flash.
Oh, the Tom Kench has cleanse. Yeah. Well, and so... Well, C9 comes out on top here because TSM used more summoner spells.
Whenever you get a gank, and you don't really get a chunk, and you don't burn a flash, it's usually really bad because you show on the map, and then now Licorice can know, okay, I'm not going to get ganked, I can play aggressive, I can push up, and also, Svenskeren can better plan out his pathing. He feels so confident invading onto this side because Acadian showed. Yeah, so C9 definitely came out ahead. I just think it was a nice try to go for, but it's so hard to kill.
Yeah.
Kench lane with cleanse. Oof. What do you think about this dragon attempt?
I mean, GP doesn't have TP. Broken Blade is... Where is he? Oh, he's coming down, yeah?
Yeah.
And so, they're just outnumbered number-wise. And I think with the positioning, you don't really have... Well, they do have a tunnel, and they didn't take that. So, I mean, you can't really get out. Because none of these champs have dashes or anything like that. So, you don't really have a disengage area for it. So, and it isn't... Actually, an Ocean Drake is pretty good. Oh, wait, C9 got it. Oh. Oh my god, it was a Morgana W. No. Yeah. Well, shit. I didn't know. Wow. I didn't know it did that much damage. That's insane.
It does very little damage, bit by bit. It's like mosquito bites. It was really bad on Acadian to not fight there. And also, you were 100% correct. They didn't fight there because of the numbers thing.
Yeah. First blood?
Rek'Sai ganks, OPAF.
Yeah, especially when you hit 6, because if you still have your flash, you can just insta flash out.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that champ, man.
And then invading. when we're going back and like watching and talking about all these little things, it's really easy to criticize junglers and what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. But in the game, like balancing out all those little things and thinking about it and making decisions is really hard.
Yeah. Of course.
What do you think about this play?
Well, you said so. It's a classic TSM. They're trying to get the second blue.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's really interesting because this is the second game in a row.
I'm telling you, TSM has been doing this ever since 2014. When I coached the team, we coached about this play and we talked about this play a lot, and like this is bread and butter TSM.
Well, so most teams probably understand this by now. So are they gonna auto blue ward, or ward their own brush because they know this is gonna happen?
Well, the thing is, right, why this works so well for TSM is Bjerg is an incredibly strong mid laner, so he wins lane a lot, so he's usually ahead by the time they want to do this, right? So they can do this easily. And also, another thing is, Bjerg, whenever he takes enemy blue, he's so good about getting a lead with it, so that's why they can replicate it a lot, and Bjerg also is a big part in TSM reviews and just the voice of TSM, and this is one way to make mid stronger. So that's why TSM does it a lot.
Okay. And
the counterplay to it is make sure your mid isn't behind, make sure you're on time to fight for it. So let's see what Cloud9 does with it.
Well, so Sneaky doesn't have his ult up, but Zayzal does. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like this would be like an iffy position because they're all... Okay, so like they get the Scryer's Bloom. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to tag Svenskeren, so they don't know about that. But they saw Niski, yes. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess if they could burst it down quick enough, it's fine. And especially if you have a Kennen, then it's not terrible. But I feel like there could just be a possibility of an engage by a 5-man Cloud9 team. Yeah. Because of the ult. Because, they're already trying to move forward. So it's like...
Yeah, Cloud9 also plays versus TSM a lot. They're one of the most frequent TSM scrim partners. So they probably know to deal with this. And they already had a pink ward in place. So both teams kind of know. TSM knows we're going to do this, and Cloud9 knows I know you're going to do this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel like, that would be actually so smart to utilize.
And also TSM, this is a timing where Bjergsen has package, and Licorice doesn't have ultimate, so it is like a kind of a mini power spike.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see.
Yeah, so they're moving forward, and so they're ready for this.
So Acadian was able to smite it away, and Niski doesn't get it, so that in itself is still nice. Wait, Niski did get it. Did he get it? Or did he have the blue before?
Svenskeren got it.
Okay, Svenskeren got it. I guess this is... Oh, just particles. It's not. He has the blue. God, that's confusing.
Wait, he has the...
Oh, he probably got it from the enemy one. Okay.
Wait. No, actually, I don't think he has the blue.
Is it particles or does he have blue?
What's his items? Wait, what the heck?
Oh, Niski had enemy blue. Okay, that's what the chat is saying. But yeah, you see how...
I was in there, I was like, wait, no.
You see how quick TSM or C9 was to react to this. It's you're gonna see it throughout the game.
So why did they? So they just continually keep doing that for the chance that Soren gets the blue.
Well, they do it for the chance that Soren gets the blue, or they get to take away the blue, and also if the enemy team doesn't react properly to it, then it's a really good play. Okay,
so
you go ahead.
No, I was gonna say Bjergsen is up against Jensen.
Yeah.
And so. This split, I obviously think that Bjergsen has done a lot better than Jensen, but they still are both very good mid laners. And so, if Bjergsen's not necessarily winning the lane, would they go for this anyways?
No, if he's not winning the lane, it's really hard to go for. If your mid can't push out, then what will happen is they'll probably gank mid first and then try to go for this play. Or Bjergsen will call a minute in advance before blue spawns to make sure he can get help with getting priority.
I see, okay. That makes sense. Getting a lot of turret plating though.
Yeah. Zayzal's actually mechanically so good.
Well, I feel so you know how GP kind of is like early game he's not good. Like that's just he's notoriously not good early game. So wouldn't you want to put more pressure top lane and try to get first turret down there? Because you have Kennen who can wave clear really easily. And wouldn't it be smart to say hypothetically Matt got that blue that that Svenskeren ended up sealing. Yeah. And so would they have enough ability to go top and then push in that turret? Because it would be a Corki, a J4, and a what is
Jivant, or J4 and J4 Corki
and a Kennen. Okay. Yeah.
So
against like a Gangplank?
You're asking, why aren't they pressuring Gangplank, a scaling champion that's diveable? So one thing that makes Gangplank hard to dive later on is he's able to clear creeps from a distance. And also he becomes pretty tanky, pretty fast, and pretty undiveable due to having fruits. And when C9 can constantly push up mid and handle this, it's really hard to dive GP. Yeah. If you're winning mid side a lot, if you're winning jungle pressure a lot, where C9 can't place vision, and they don't know you're going top side, it is way more possible, but in the current game state, it's not very possible.
Okay.
So like a common pattern you will see is kill GP before level 6, and then kill him over and over again. But when you don't kill him before level 6, it's actually really hard to dive him, and that's why he's seeing a lot of play right now.
Okay.
He's a carry champion that's vulnerable early, but if you don't get the punish, he'll skill like crazy.
I see. Okay.
Instead, like, they chose to gank the Tom lane, which is okay because they have a Varus and a Braum, but C9 played just so well versus it. Alright, let's see what happens. Oh wait, why is Niski so low? Oh, it looks like... Okay, Bjerg just got a really good chunk on Niski. God damn. This choke is what TSM's trying to push C9 off of. Here, I'll show you little by little what kind of happens. So they need to play a little bit stronger for this choke because mid is pushed up all the way, right? And Bjergsen's not here to use Q on this or use rockets on this. Like, they kind of have to give up the choke, and C9 gets to walk up 4 and then be in this wide path thing, and then it'll open it up completely. They get to be in the wide path thing. Now Dragon contest isn't that easy, right? And then you can see Niski, or not Niski, Svenskern shooting Qs in this choke. And then on the reburst, this is a choke that TSM doesn't want to be in. Always like look at the chokes and like see how good teams are at forcing people into the choke and not taking the fights at the choke. That's a really big part of fighting at Dragon. What'd you think of this one? Let's slow it down.
Yeah, let's slow it down. I mean, so he flashed on a Sneaky, but then Sneaky got TK'd. Damn, that's just unlucky TK-ness. God, TK is such a cock blocker, it's insane.
What do you think they could have done better?
Well, I didn't even see one Broken Blade. Well, I mean, so I feel like the rest of the team wasn't really there for the follow up. I don't know. Like Sven didn't have his ult, and so that would have been really instrumental in that. So especially there, if like Sven ulted, it would have hit at least like 2 or 3 of them. You can get into Sneaky. Zazel would have been tied up. Actually, well, that's his range is pretty big, so it's like he could have been.
Look at what Acadian does, okay? That's a really big point.
Okay, so he flag and drags out.
Yeah, why do you think he did that?
Because they called it disengage.
Yeah, and then Broken Blade went in.
Oh, okay.
Here's why this is like so bad, because like they're very disconnected, right?
Yeah.
Acadian's going out while Broken Blade is going in. But a really big thing that's happening here is targets that TSM is choosing to go on. Sneaky and Niski both have flash, and it's incredibly important to call this before engaging. Acadian actually played really smart here.
Yeah.
He knew after he ults he has to get out because they have flashes and they'll flash out. But Broken Blade, it's like, I'm fucking going in like full Pikachu. So a lot of teams will talk about, don't commit, they have flash, just burn flashes and back out. Just burn flashes and back out. It's something C9 says a lot. Care about full commit. Or they'll be like, oh, they don't have flash. Fucking commit.
Yeah.
So here, TSM is messing up their comms and not realizing that they don't want to fully commit. So Broken Blade is not understanding what to do here.
Okay.
Because he's committing to the engage while the rest of his team knows that they're not going to commit to this engage. And it's against the Tom Kench and both carries having flash, so it's correct to not commit. And then Smoothie kind of went in along with Broken Blade, and then now Broken Blade has to flash out, and C9 gets to really punish TSM for being undecisive and for kind of messing up what they wanted to do. to stopwatch from Bjerg. I say this a lot, but Bjergsen and Smoothie are the only really great engagers on TSM. I think rest are kind of meh.
Well, see, this is what I was noticing, because I don't know if I'm pretty sure maybe it was in the next game, but someone was on something and there were a lot of fights. Actually, it must have been this game. I'm trying to remember, but maybe it was the first game too. He just he wouldn't go in. He would just it's obviously they were calling for to disengage and just back out of the team fight. But do you just let your team die?
No, you make sure they don't do this. When the situation is happening, you're already fucked.
Okay.
You have to fix your comms before this even happens. Okay. You have to be very clear about what you want out of that fight. The more you talk before and the more you set up things before, the less mistakes will happen in the game itself.
So just kind of one of those things we fucked up, just...
I don't know what the comms were, but I will hunt, I'm 99% Broken Blade wasn't clear on what he needed to be doing, or they said, we'll play it slow, and Broken Blade was like, no, let's go.
Okay, I see.
TSM trying to break boss side, C9 playing very safe, playing from a distance, clearing with GP ult while taking Herald. They're just called, TSM's being desperate. They know they need to open up the map somehow, but C9 is very smart about playing on the weak side and playing back. Yeah, so even with TSM getting bottom turret, C9 getting top turret, and getting to smash in top, and that really important mid turret we talked about, we took it after Dragon.
Because the GP is so ahead at this point, that's why they would put Herald there, right? Because you can't really just dive the GP.
Yeah, and also they want the gold to go on GP.
I see, okay.
They want GP ahead. This is a really good reply from TSM to be able to get top turret though, because it was pushed in all the way, and C9 kind of fucked around with switching lanes. GP walked all the way bottom, there was a small opening for Broken Blade to get turret, and he actually got it. He's one of the better split pushers because he knows when he can be in lane and constantly split push. Alright, what do you think's the next thing they're going to play for?
Well, Drag's coming up, so I mean, but it's a Cloud Drake.
You'll still play for Cloud Drake. Just overall, the only thing teams won't really play for is Ocean Drake later on, but most teams will still play for Cloud Drake.
Okay. Well, how is it? So how is it here? Because so Cloud Drake is coming up. Baron's coming up.
Ask your question.
Well, okay, so basically, say they fight you here, and one team loses 2 or 3 members, then you could just immediately rotate to Baron.
Yeah.
So is the move to just contest this and just try not to fuck up, or is it is there a safer option here where it's let them take Dragon, let's just make sure we don't lose Baron, because right now.
Then so that's called playing not to lose. Right?
Okay, yeah.
You need to play to win.
Okay.
Or you're slowly going to give up stuff and you're going to lose eventually. So they can choose to not fight for this air Drake. Let's say it's 60%, 40% for 60% chance that Cloud9 wins the fight and 40% chance that TSM wins the fight, right? If they give up Dragon and then later on they take a fight, most likely the next fight they take, Cloud9 has a higher chance of winning because they took Dragon and they're getting more things on the map. So they're getting stronger at a rate faster than TSM. So unless your comp outscales the enemy team by a huge amount, you want to start fighting and you don't let the other team outscale. So exceptions would be, let's say I'm playing a Tristana. I'm about to hit 3 items with Infinity Edge. Then I might say, let's not take this fight. Next fight I'll have IE and we'll be so much stronger. So unless you're playing for huge power spikes like Kassadin level 16, you almost have to take every fight or it just gets harder and harder and harder. So that's why they're actively taking this fight. So Broken Blade pushed up all the way top, so Licorice going to make sure he can't push while they're in this stalemate situation. Both teams staying in the long river. And Licorice is able to help out even with not being there, right? With the ult. Oh, we can go back and look at this. He used EQ there because it gives him a little bit more burst with the smite. But Svenskeren still outsmited him. And then going in and then Eing out. Oh, sneaky. That was brave AF. We'll take a little bit of time to break this down, but there's someone on TSM side that played out of their mind to actually save this fight. Who do you think it was?
I was watching too many things at once.
Okay, what were you watching?
Okay, I was watching, well, because, so, Licorice TP before Broken Blade?
Let's see. Boom, C9 starts the fight, Braum gets hit. Oh, Braum barely doesn't get hit by the Q. That would have been Braum dead if he got hit by the Q. Licorice starts TPing first.
Okay, yeah, because I noticed it was a little bit late.
Oh, Niski. Did you see Niski here? Watch Niski here. So he missed the Q. He's getting hit by Bjerg. He flash ults. Bjerg jumps away and flashes before it hits. So Bjergsen just toyed with Niski there.
Yeah.
Niski missed his Q, burned his flash ult, and wasn't able to kill Bjerg. And Bjerg was able to stay on top of 2 people while killing 1 target. So he basically 2v1'd here and allowed his team to 4v3, and that's a huge reason why TSM was able to come out ahead.
Okay.
So it takes a little bit of time, but when you break it down, like stuff like this is what makes Bjergsen really special, and this is where you really see like the big difference between Niski and Bjerg. Like look at what Niski does in this fight. He misses a Q on a stun target. He misses a Q on a teleporting target. He flash ults Bjerg and is not able to get his stun off, and then gets killed by Bjerg. So where one mid laner did nothing, another mid laner won a 2v1 and let his team take a 3v4.
Yeah, I saw him.
I'm not sure if casters caught that, but Bjergsen fucking destroyed C9 in that fight. More specifically, he destroyed Niski in that fight. That's why it's really hard to sometimes like think of like who's good and who's not good, because if you don't analyze like this, right, you just play on storylines. And that's why a lot of people still go with like, oh, Bjergsen's passive, but the more you watch and the more you know, like you'll see little things like this from Bjergsen, and you'll get to really see why he was insane this split.
Do you put out a vote for MVP?
Yeah. I can't tell you, I can tell you privately, but I can't talk about it publicly yet until the MVP is released. Alright. What do you think about this situation? Something we talked a lot about already.
So the choke point.
Oh.
Choke point. Got it. So they're in kind of. So they're cutting off that choke point, and so they have, I don't know where. I can't see where. Who is it?
Kennen?
No, where Licorice is.
Licorice, he's right here.
Okay, and he has his ult. So TSM doesn't really have an option but to disengage, right, and leave. And so they can't really do anything there. And so if they push him out enough, C9 can just go for Baron.
Yeah, and then why did TSM come in here?
Why did they come in here?
It's really simple.
Are they just running away?
No, they came in here just to make sure they can try to control Baron.
Oh.
But
well, I mean, top lane's pushing, so like I feel like that would just be like or see it like the C9 wave is pushing, so like C9 would have more pressure coming this way anyways, and so is it literally just like we can't let them get Baron, and so
we can't let them get Baron, and also how you need to play versus this is what we talked about, like going through like the wide side, going through mid lane, but they didn't, and they got greedy and they went in through the narrower side and the choke. That's why they're getting punished so heavily there. But really good catch on the choke. That's like what's allowing C9 to get a really good fight here. Let's slow it down. I mean, the only option he has is to counter engage, but you're counter engaging on a Rek'Sai who can ult, right? And also receive shield from Niski, so it's not a very good. And then this is the choke thing that we're talking about. Right? It's hard for these guys to fight when they're fighting in a choke with GP ult, and then GP also using barrels here. So like they can't do damage. Acadian's isolated. Braum is isolated. Now we're learning.
I see. I feel like chat is in pain. Sorry, guys.
No, it's okay. I'm just...
Learning with Loco. Oh my god. New segment. Feels bad.
Can't Braum ult and J4 ult punish people bottling up? Look at the approach angle from C9. One person coming from here, one person coming from here, one person coming from here, one person from here. Like, this is such a multi-angle, while TSM is in this choke, so it's hard for them to punish. Yeah, but the GP ult placement there, it's just so good. This is why, for some teams, fight look really easy, because they know how to set up around objective and force people into them.
Mm-hmm.
Now that C9 has Baron, they're running 4-1. Acadian trying to get the flank, but he got arrowed, and then just getting caught out. I'm not sure why he looked for the flank angle there, because Kennen doesn't have teleport, so it would have been a really hard flank anyways, but it's just kind of like rookie mistakes. What are you looking at? Like, what do you think's happening?
I mean, I was just watching bot lane and how, like, you gotta answer the GP because he's so far ahead that he could just burst on the, like, turret immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Then the flank's coming in. But I feel like, is, like, this flank's so, like, oh, okay, never mind.
Remember what we talked about, like, how flanking is really important for them?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I feel like the ward was, like, too far down, and so it just, like, came, like, this really big gap, and so they knew that, because GP was there.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's, like, that actually took Broken Blade out of the fight, and so they could just turn and then kill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
3 of them TP and then. Yeah. So I'll go back and talk to you a little bit about how they use Baron and why it was such a good Baron usage. This is crazy. 3 people low, they just ported back and TP'd in. So one thing that C9 did really, really well here that I kind of want to commend and I want you to look for when other teams use Baron is it's called matching the wave. So both waves are crashing at the same time.
Oh.
So this first wave, they kind of have to let go. You see how there's no one on that wave because they know they have to let that wave go.
Yeah.
But on this one, it's very well matched. Like Svensker and staying here and making sure this wave pushes up. Because when this wave hits turret, if there's no wave here, TSM can just have all 5 people here, right? But if there's a wave here, then they need to at least send 1 person here. And it can't be 5 people, and it can be 4 or 3, and they don't feel confident enough defending for this. A lot of teams don't do very well in terms about like keeping the wave alive and actually pressuring other side too. But this is something that C9 is doing really well by keeping Svensker in here and kind of forcing all these guys to stay around. TSM has way too many members here, but C9 actually splitting properly and not just grouping up 5, even though they're stronger, is super important. So you'll watch like bad teams just stick 5 people in a single lane even when they have Baron and not really get a lot with it. But C9's not a team that makes that kind of mistake. And then, yeah, because they kept this wave here, they're also able to easily transition like this.
I see.
What are, so like, other than choke points, what are like some other things like you're noticing and then now you realize is important?
I mean, what was really interesting, what you were just talking about, how like the pressure, especially with something like Baron, or when they're pushing in, and do you have someone that's like a really strong solo laner that can put that split push, how they allot their members, because you see that a lot when people are crashing in from all 3 sides, and then the team ends up just losing all their turrets and all their inhibs, and then it's over by then because it's just like it's just thrown away at that point. Wasn't there a game here that like I think TSM took all 3 inhibs?
Yeah, I mean, we can watch.
Kind of over.
I don't remember specifically.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see this play out.
This is where it turns around. Wait, so once you ban the Taric, there's no reason to pick Sona, and so you don't have to ban that out, correct?
Yeah. So another thing, another combo that teams haven't been doing yet is, let's say you ban the Sona, right? there's another disgusting duo in Taric Karma that can actually do that.
Okay.
Taric Karma can function as kind of a mini Sona, so that's something you need to watch out for. That's why TSM bans Taric instead of banning Sona.
Mm-hmm.
I know some teams ban Sona instead, but yeah, when you ban Sona, you have to be careful about Taric Karma.
Mm-hmm.
So C9 keeping their bans because they're winning. TSM kind of adapting. They're going back to the Jace though. Wait, TSM kept their bans. They banned Kennen. Oh, the only thing they banned. Oh, instead of banning Rise, they banned Taric. So, because in their first game it was Kindred, Rise, Kennen.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the. This one I was super surprised by, right?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, okay, it's not this one. It's when we get to game 4. But C9 keeping Svenskeren on engaged. I really would have liked to see him on Rek'Sai and take Acadian off of Rek'Sai. He had such a good Rek'Sai game. I was very surprised they went for this instead. And TSM going back to their practice, going back to Gragas Kali. This is a really hard call to make as a coach. You're on game 3 and you're going back to what you were originally doing. And if you lose like this, there's endless fucking comments and like it's actually stupid fucking commentary because you're just trusting in your practice. Like imagine TSM lost here. All TSM fans are like, why the fuck didn't TSM adapt? Oh, Ziggs is a terrible coach. Like, we're just doing the same shit over and over again and we're losing. But a lot of times, like, you need to trust in the practice when you know it's you're fucking up on execution and your practice is good and the comp you're coming in with is what your team is most comfortable with. It's one of the most hard decisions to make as a coach. And I thought it was I was kind of worried for them going back to Gragas and not giving Acadian Rek'Sai, but it ended up really working out.
Mm-hmm.
As you talked about, like C9 with a lot of globals again, with Kench, with GP. It's really important you play... Oh, maybe that's why they're doing this. Because they know they're going to pick GP into Jace, and they want the glue champion in Jarvan instead of taking more of a carry champion in Rek'Sai.
Okay.
That's the only reason I can see them taking Jarvan over Rek'Sai.
Am I a mod in your chat?
You should be. You're mod or VIP.
Okay.
Why, you want to ban people?
Yeah.
Okay. Same bans again, Galio and then Braum. Braum is a new one, but the Galio is one they've been constantly banning because Smoothie's shown a lot of prowess on Galio.
He gets it 4th game, yeah? I'm pretty sure.
What's up?
He gets it 4th game. I'm pretty sure, right?
I forget. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm all scared. I'm like, oh my god.
What's in that? So we'll talk about kind of the
wait, I'm not even VIP'd in your chat. Excuse me?
Are you not? I'm pretty sure you're VIP'd.
Sad. Can I ban people if I VIP people?
No, you're a mod now. You can ban people.
Nice.
You need... Okay, I'll just tell you straight up. You're going to get...
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to ban.
Well, like if you want to actually make it as like a creator or like an analyst, you need to be okay with people flaming you because like the more popular you get, the more flame you'll have, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not getting triggered by chat. It seems like chat's actually been like pretty chill. There's just like some people that are just being like dumb. Like it obviously says in the title that it's VOD review with me who's learning. So if you're not happy with watching something at slow mode, then you can leave. Thanks.
Well, I mean, I really do think you are going to be popular and you are going to get a bigger audience and you can't ban everyone that says shitty things. Like you don't let other people control like how you feel due to what they say. You just have to be okay with you're fucking stupid. Like I'm just going to do my thing and go fuck yourself. That's just the mentality you need to develop.
That's the listen Loco of the day. No, I got you. No, I really appreciate this. I'm just trying to learn.
Alright, so let's watch them finish out draft and we can talk about a little bit the adaptation that TSM actually made. So let's look at TSM draft right now. Like what are the adaptations they made?
So they put Zen on a more mobile champion that he's known for being super good on and can carry. So like you don't, with Sven on Ezreal, you don't have to put a lot of effort into bot lane because he can pretty much do that on his own, especially with Smoothie as Alistar. And so, yeah? Is that good?
That's one, but you're kind of going in reverse. So my big point is this one and this one. Try to think why I circled these and like what I talked about earlier.
Because, so you were saying, because you were saying that Bjergsen is really good at engage for TSM.
Yeah, really good at engage and playmaking.
Oh, and then so is Smoothie. And so with a combo of them, they could just, okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, this is a kind of adaptation they made from game one. Game one, it was Jace mid and Akali top, right? I think TSM's best engagers and best playmakers and the best ones at seeing windows are Bjergsen and Smoothie. So by putting Bjergsen and Smoothie on these champions and giving them tools, that's the adaptation I really want to see TSM make. And you talked about Israel first, but I think the kind Israel pick came because of the Alistar. It's kind of the chicken or the egg situation, but because they're picking Alistar, they picked Israel, not the other way around. So now I'm a little bit more comfortable with this comp. There's a lot of different flank angles they can come at, and because Bjergsen's running TP this time, it's actually a true 1-3-1 comp, and they can be in 1-3-1 situations. What do you think of C9 comp?
So, if they're looking for a late game scaling with the Jinx and the GP, yes. And they have a lot of protection with Zillion's ult, and they're doing that protect the Jinx comp.
So it is somewhat of a protect the Jinx comp, and it's also a very heavy backline comp. Because even though GP is like a melee champion, you want to play at a distance, right? Like shooting at a distance, popping barrels at a distance. Zillion obviously a backline champion, Jinx obviously a backline champion. So this is a comp, but they still have like a glue piece in Jarvan. So I think this kind of explains why they picked Jarvan instead of Rek'Sai, because they wanted to make sure they have a glue piece from Svenskeren. But I would have much preferred if like the glue piece came from Niski or Zeyzo, right? And then we gave Svenskeren a carry champ. But that's kind of like the minuses of the comp. So this is where like a average analyst becomes like a really excellent analyst. So if someone without kind of the knowledge of TSM or C9 can't make the same kind of comments I did regarding keeping Bjergsen on a playmaker or a Smoothie on a playmaker. But when you know the team's well and you also know the game's well, you can give more in-depth information and a little bit more specialized information.
Okay.
But to sum it up, you're 100% right. This is a protect the Jinx comp and more of a backline comp. And for TSM, it's more of a multifaceted 1-3-1 engage flank kind of comp. Would Kindred have been good in this game for Svenskeren instead of J4? We literally just talked about needing a glue piece for C9, so I don't think Kindred would have been good at all. They would have no engage. Yeah, Gragas is also good into Kindred. Mar2586, top quality content every week. Best local channel I've ever seen. Thank you so much, Mar. We have very exciting Listen Locos coming up with Golden Glue and LS. Pay attention.
I know!
Yeah.
Okay. Sick, thanks.
This one's the most important game.
Yeah, anyways. Fucking run it.
What do you think of, how do you think early game will play out? Where will both teams place a lot of attention?
I don't know. I'm trying to think about it. I mean, because I feel like would bot lane be in favor of TSM at this point? So they're probably going to be pushing. Oh, okay, maybe not.
Alright, let's look. Do you think bot lane's killable for either party?
No.
Okay, so if it's hard to kill, it's hard for a jungler to put attention on it, right? Okay. So probably not bot lane. What about mid lane?
So I was thinking mid lane would be easier to kill.
Yeah, it's
especially
definitely
if like
Niski
gets off like a double stun, it'd be like pretty easy.
But Akali's also really slippery, right? With her E and her shroud.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to top lane. What about top?
Well, Jace would win early game in this matchup anyways, and so there's going to be a lot of attention by Svenskeren up into the top side. And so I guess it'll be more top side heavy. Well, I feel like if you're going to put like a Jace into a GP, like you're going to expect the lane to lose at the beginning. And so Licorice is just going to play safe.
So Licorice will play safe, but if you play too safe, right, I can build up multiple waves on you and dive you. So remember what we talked about early. GP is a carry that needs kind of help until level 6.
Okay.
So, and Jace is a really strong early game champion, right?
Yeah.
So both teams are going to put a lot of attention top lane in terms of making sure the GP is safe or making sure they're trying to kill GP. So that's like a really big early game point we want to check out. Super strong early game, super weak early game, and both kind of junglers able to gank, so they're going to put a lot of attention. And you can also kind of see that in them both starting boss side, and then he's going to be jungling upward, right?
Okay.
Same for Gragas. They're jungling upward because they want to finish their path top side and help out or try to kill the top lane.
Okay.
And then Svenskeren actually able to push out Acadian again. He has priority. GP actually got to push up. GP is actually not that weak of a champion when you get to push early. But Acadian skipped over, popped over here, but there's a ward, so he's not able to pressure as much. So I remember what we talked about earlier with like jungle pathing. It's really hard to understand jungle pathing unless you know like a lot of the matchup.
Yeah.
Why do you think he backs off, even though he's stronger there?
Because Sakali?
Yeah,
Sakali can roam?
Yeah, because of kind of, what is it, the ability to collapse, and he doesn't feel like he's spending time fruitfully there, and also if he's committed to it, and Akali and Jace also collapse, it can be really bad.
Okay.
So he's just fucking with him and then backing up. A lot of times junglers will overstay and get killed there. So C9's in like incredibly happy position. Like GP didn't get ganked. GP's even on CS with Jace. Like Licorice is fucking this cat. Like he's so fucking happy. Dodging EQs, way pushing into him. Jungler not near that side, so him getting to farm up, like it just makes GP like a very, very happy pirate. So this is why, you know, the whole meme with NA Jace, right? Jace is a champion that's very important to push the lead on and kind of help snowball and also play out in a side lane, and a lot of those require like small finesse windows, and if you don't abuse that small finesse windows, you get outscaled by champions like GP or tanks. And what is it, you actually get killed in lane versus tanks, because tanks plus the jungler is able to kill Jace really easily. So he's a very high level of execution champion. That's why there's the whole meme on NA Jace.
Okay.
Because NA players aren't good enough to actually play those out and abuse the windows.
I see.
And then as like bot lane, as we talked about, it's just playing out in like a very neutral manner. Why do you think Sneaky took teleport? Because that's not very normal, Jinx having teleport.
So you can get back to lane faster. Right? No?
That is like a reason, but why don't everyone just take teleport then?
Wow, that just sounds like a dumbass answer. Nice. Well...
compare it versus heal. Like, so the other option that he has is heal, right? Heal versus teleport.
Well, because with Tahm Kench, you can take heal, but with Tahm Kench, he could save you anyways. And so it's almost like it's heal in a sense when he swallows you. So like,
so that is one of the reasons. So why people have been taking more and more teleports is there hasn't been a lot of kill bot lanes, and the most popular bot lane supports are stuff like Braum, stuff like Tahm Kench, right?
Yeah.
So when everyone's so neutralized and they don't have so much killing power, you can be very greedy with your summoners. But as people play more and more aggressive champions, you need the heal for the 2v2.
I see. Okay.
So him taking teleport here, actually, I don't think it's that great because Israel Alistar is something that can put pressure on you, even with the Kench. Actually, Kench does neutralize Alistar a lot, so that's why he probably has teleport, like you said, because he doesn't feel like he can get killed. But you'll see more teleport, you'll see more cleanse in a meta where the bot lanes don't have as much kill pressure. But as bot lanes get more and more kill pressure, you definitely need to run teleport, or not teleport, heal.
So when supports start like filtering over into like mages like Karma and all that, you would see heal versus...
Yeah.
Okay.
When it's like Karma, Thresh, Lulu, Nami, where it's a lot of trading and a lot of actual 2v2s going on, if you run teleport, like missing a summoner is a huge deal in the fight. Acadian sneaking in Herald here, actually really nice. This is like the kind of little things that you can do with Jace because you have priority, and if you can't get the actual dive off, like using the priority to get Herald, that's a nice way to snowball. Wow, them actually getting turret plating bottom is huge. Whew.
That was a good wait by Matt for his ult. I think he saved it for a while.
Well, it's also a really good counter gank by him. And also, yeah, Svenskern should have flashed that ult, but this is a lane that they need to put a lot of pressure into. And I know you might say, oh, Loco, you fucking cheated. Like, you already watched this game. That's why you need the jungler for coming up top side. Yeah. But just by looking at the matchups, this is stuff like Analyst will know and casters can talk about, oh, there's going to be a lot of attention top lane just by knowing the matchups.
Yeah.
Between, like, do you have favorite pro players on either team?
Not particularly.
Okay. What team do you like?
My best advice that I've ever given on that actually is from Clayton. I don't know if he's still in the chat, but Clayton says if you ever want to be an analyst or a caster, you can't really put team bias. I mean, like, I have been kind of vocal about being a C9 fan just from back in the day, but I mean, I think as you get to know the players and you get to know everyone that's involved in this, you know how hard they work.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to, like, specifically root for a team unless there's a team that's, like, obviously inting it on purpose. Like, not trying to call people out, but I remember, what was it? Clutch last year in summer.
Yeah.
When, like, there was, like, one game where they, like, purposely inting it because, like, they didn't really care, but I think it was, like, the team that they were going against, it's like they literally knocked another team out if they won or something like that. And it just, like, you know, that's kind of BM, but, like, I think that's a different situation.
I think it's, as you said, it's so hard not to have favorite teams when also I work for teams, right? I work for TSM, TL. I even played very briefly for CLG, coach very briefly for Golden Guardians. Like, so I have some negative bias and some positive bias. And I think the worst thing you can do is not be honest about some of the bias like you might have. So even someone like Flowers, right? As neutral as he might want to stay, like he actively hangs out with players on certain teams. So I think it's really hard as an analyst to not be biased, and sometimes like leaning into the bias is also not a bad thing.
Yeah. Who was it? Someone I noticed that like actually has really improved on that was Zale. I felt like the first couple years when he was casting, he had a lot of team bias, and then after he like has really made an effort to like not have it as much and talk a lot about, and especially this year I felt like he did a really good job at talking about the win condition for the losing team as well, even if it wasn't like the team that like he usually had a lot of bias towards. And so I think he's doing a really good job at that. And it's really improved his cast, in my opinion, personally.
So let's go back and look at the game more closely. So TSM is going to do a little bit of an adaptation to their normal play, which is blue contest, right?
Yeah.
So this one's a red contest. But this is one of the...
Well, because they have, have the top lane pushing.
Yeah. But this is also one of the other things that TSM does. Other than blue contest, one of their most frequent play is red contest. So another way you can tell Team Liquid is a team that plays heavily towards bot lane, and they also have a very, very strong priority on Dragon. So TSM loves second blue, Team Liquid loves dragons and playing towards bot.
Mm. Actually, you're right. Team Liquid really, I noticed in like most of the games they usually have like pretty quick dragon control. Like once it's up, they immediately just go for it.
That's why they're so good in the meta, because right now first dragon and dragons in general are so powerful, so it really lines up with Team Liquid's idea on how the game should be played. And more accurately, Doublelift's idea. Almost all Doublelift teams have been bot lane focused and very dragon focused. Let's see. Oh, so close. But yeah, like,
oh yeah, I remember watching this actually.
If you don't kill GP early, and this is something that Licorice did really well, he gave up things he needed to give up, so he never actually died in lane, but once you don't kill GP early and he hits certain power spikes, the champion's so fucking stupid. You can't kill him, he's able to clear creeps from a range distance, he's able to use ult to be able to clear at a global distance, he can help you clear with bot lane, like, he has so much safety switches once he's online, and he just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. It's kind of awkward from Sven there. So what do you... and TSM going for Bloom Bay.
Well, yeah, I mean, C9 is pretty low anyways, and so that would be a smart time to go for it.
So what do you think TSM wants to do going in or going forward, and then what's Cloud9 want to do?
TSM probably wants to get this mid turret, so then it opens up the map a lot more.
Oh, fucking beautiful.
And then C9 doesn't want them to get mid. Oh wow.
So one thing that I would criticize TSM on what do you think is something that they can do to get mid turret?
Put a lot of pressure top, and so they have to... Actually, no. Just kidding. So I was going to say they have to, like send someone to answer that. But GP right now, since he hasn't killed a bunch, and so, like... Can he answer that himself at this point, or did he not hit his power spike?
I'm sorry, who again?
So I was saying, like, instead of putting a lot of pressure top, and so they go to answer that, and C9 goes to answer that, is GP already in like the state where like he can answer it by himself? He doesn't need help from other people. So
he needs a little bit of help, and they can play for top turret, but GP is not an easy person to do that on. So one thing I would really like to see TSM do this game is control this mini triangle right here. What they can do when they control this triangle is Jace pushes up, and instead of hitting this turret, he can rotate all the way here and hit this mid turret and poke with Akali.
Okay.
So while Zilean has decent wave clear, when Gragas and Akali both walk up together, it's really hard for Zilean to just be at turret, especially when Gragas has flash and when Jace can come down and try to poke. I think this would have been their best bet, actually playing for first mid turret instead of staying top and trying to get this turret on GP.
I see. That makes sense.
And then C9's best, what they want to do is, it's called stabilizing. It just means they want to reach a point in the game where they are stable. Also, this was a really good rotation. After they killed Jinx, they just rotated and was able to take turret. They want to reach a point in the game where things are stable, right? And they don't have to worry about TSM taking things on them. And they can go into 5v5 team fights, which are really good for C9. Do you get my donut? Oh shit, we got a donation. What was your donation? Sorry, I didn't catch that. Was wondering why doesn't Tahm Kench have Ignite here? Jinx Tahm Kench can really threaten to kill bot lane, no? And why does Tahm Kench have Glacial Argument? I actually am not too sure about the Ignite. I don't think they can kill bot lane either, so I'm confused about the Ignite, and I don't think Glacial Argument was the best here. Let's go back and watch this a little bit. What's happening?
So bot side is pretty dark, and Dragon is coming up. Oh, Dragon's live. So there's a choke point.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Trigger word of the day. And so if they're able to, I mean, Bjergsen is in a place where he can flank, he can go around and like poke him out even more. Would it be smart for like Acadian just to start Dragon while they're occupying C9?
He can even start Dragon, or he can push them out. But you said the correct word. It is the choke point. Like choke point, it's not just word of the day.
We're learning it, but no, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's such like an awkward little angle because then like Bjergsen can just come up.
Yeah. When you shoot Israel Qs here, it's incredibly hard to dodge. When All-Star looks for a WQ combo here, it's such a narrow place you can hit multiple people.
Okay.
So it's so incredibly hard to walk out through this. That's why TSM is so focused from preventing C9 to walk out. And one reason Bjergsen is maintaining this position is to kind of prevent this from C9, where they can get the wide angle. But yeah, choke point, choke point, choke point. It's just part of good League of Legends, like defending choke points and not allowing people to come through choke points. And if you learn anything, I think that's something you're going to take away today.
Yeah, no, that was really good. Engage on Niski because he had to use his ult on himself. So he's down with that. Actually, how is the Niski's ult? What's the cooldown on that?
It's, I would guess around 60 seconds, but Zillion's skill, he has a skill called Rewind, which speeds up his skill cooldown by like 10 to 15 seconds every time he uses it.
Okay.
So the true cooldown of the ultimate is actually not 60 seconds. It's like extremely short. It's more closer to 30 seconds.
I see.
That's why you see Zillions get off like double ultimates in a team fight. And that's why Zillion can use double bomb. He uses Q and then he rewinds and then he's able to use Q again.
Okay.
Have you never played Zillion?
I don't think so.
Okay.
You don't see many Zillions in low elo.
Oh, rewind doesn't work on ult anymore? Okay. Oh, so apparently rewind doesn't work on ult anymore. I'm wrong about that. So it does actually have a static cooldown now.
I see.
And C9 able to catch Broken Blade in the side lane. And then GP farming up. One item is where GP stabilizes, and second item is where he's like really fucking bullshit. Oof. Holy fuck, he almost got one shot there. TSM finally playing for that mid turret. This was a really awkward way of going about it though. I mean, they got it, but Acadian died. So there, right? One thing Acadian can do better is when he's here, right? It's really dangerous for Sneaky and Spencer to stay here.
Yeah.
So he doesn't even have to do this. Like he can just like threaten to flank them and not go in all the way and just like waddle here.
Yeah.
And then walk back. That's still good enough, but watch what he does. He's like, okay, I'm gonna walk up all the way in and actually get goat on. So he can just stay there, like pretend like he's gonna go in, walk back and forth.
Yeah.
And better junglers will do that instead of just walking in all the way.
It's good engage by Smoothie.
Oh shit, I didn't see that engage.
Yeah.
Let's see. GP porting in. Smoothie getting a good WQ combo. Whew, and Bjergsen finishing it off. But I'm telling you, Bjergsen and Smoothie, best engagers and playmakers on TSM. So like, as a coach, like when you know stuff like this, right? You can kind of push team into awkward situations by pushing Bjergsen and Smoothie away from engaged champions, and then that makes them a lot worse. And that's why certain teams have problems playing meta champions. Like Golden Guardians can't play Vel'Koz because not Vel'Koz, Golden Guardians can't play Lissandra because Froggen's way better on backline carries than he is on like stuff like Lissandra. So that's like, these are like little team specific things. And I know you watch a lot of NA and you don't watch international, so
yeah,
these are things if you pick up on like that can make you a really good analyst and have a lot of interesting talking points. All right, let's see this one. What'd you think of this one? You can slow it down.
So I mean, Smoothie's pretty low. He doesn't have ult. Acadian's pretty low, and they don't know. Okay, wait. I don't know. Were they just scared?
It's mostly because of the ult cooldowns. Like, Bjergsen not having ult. Like, Akali and Alistar aren't real champions when they don't have ultimates.
I see.
So that's why. Oh, shit. So Zazel was trying to ult behind a Kate, or... I didn't even catch this. But when you see, like, the pings going down here, right?
Yeah.
It means GP is teleporting, and also one thing you want to look for... Look at what Tom Kench did. So GP is teleporting here. So Kench is trying to ult top and trying to flank Jace, but he got cancelled by Zven. That was really good on Zven to E forward, and that's why he's getting caught out here. And then for the Baron, TSM just made a mistake. They thought they could take Baron, but they couldn't. So after that, they had to back right. And while C9 could stay on the map, and they went for Dragon. This is like, that's called the tempo play.
Okay. Where
C9 got ahead on tempo because TSM forced to back, and then they're able to take Dragon. Now, the game's really going to come down to Baron and side lane split push. Akali is still one of the champions that can have a lot of pressure on GP and can solo kill GP. It's a little bit harder without Ignite. Okay, but she has Morello, so that helps a lot. Like, killing GP without grievous wounds are so fucking hard. Ooh, we can look at this here. Remember what we talked about earlier? Like, when there was a point in the game where we were talking about, oh, why doesn't this team just siege mid turret? And we talked about, like, multiple flank angles.
Yeah.
And you can see that here, like the flank angle from Svenskeren. Oof. GP ult, top of Jarvan ult. This is what I mean regarding, like, C9 and coordination. Like, their coordination is one of the best in the game. And they're also very good about keeping track of flashes. Remember that one fight that TSM did there, where they tried to engage on C9?
Yeah.
And they flashed out and they got punished for it?
Yeah.
C9's engaging on targets without flashes. Acadian, Broken Blade, like, they're very good about keeping track of that, and that's why they have a lot more successful engages than a team like TSM.
I see.
And then now, going back to controlling Baron. Oh, then almost dying. They actually got Baron, though. I think if you put C9 in this position 10 times, they win the game, I would say, 8 out of 10 times. So TSM was so fucking close to getting 0-2 or 0-3. Like, C9 with Baron, like we saw from, like, last game, how good they were about taking turrets and stuff. I would, like, if they're in this position again, I have no doubt that they would more likely win than lose. It was a miracle that TSM was able to win this game and win the series. They're on a scaling comp. GP and Jinx both scaling. They got Baron. There's going to be a huge gold gap in a little bit. Like, it was a fucking miracle comeback from TSM, and Bjerg was a superhero. Can Flag and Drag be interrupted by Gragas E? Yeah. Gragas E has the biggest hitbox in one of the... Gragas E has one of the biggest hitbox for movement ability, so Gragas E will beat pretty much anything. Ooh, look at this. Alright. Walk me through this a little bit.
So Bjergsen's trying to go for the flank. And Zven is... Was this the team fight? Was this turnaround team fight?
Yeah, it's the turnaround team fight.
Okay. Well, let's see. Licorice Shaw's is ult, and so we can still throw that down, but I think Broken Blade's in a... Oh, God, okay.
Let's play this song and we can watch it together.
Okay, so Zven's being protected right now by the wall, and so he can still... like, there's a ward there, so they see him, but he can still create damage. Broken Blade's in a good position for his... Oh, wow. Okay.
You know,
there's so many things happening. Holy crap.
You know what the problem is here? It's something we talk about all the time.
Choke point?
Yeah. What? C9's walking into a what?
A choke point. Okay, yeah, I see that.
So when they walk into this choke point, Acadian ult is fucking god tier here.
Yeah.
They never should chase beyond, like, into a choke point, but this is a huge reason why they're losing. because they're walking into a choke point, 3 people get hit by ult, and then also KD.
Oh, okay, I see.
So if they don't chase here, like Jinx is full HP, Zillion is full HP, Tomcat is full HP with Dexkin not taking damage, Jarvan is full HP, but walking into choke point like loses them the game. Like
I see.
You might think like I over talk about choke point, but
no, I mean like it makes sense.
It's so fucking important. And if someone called, we're walking into a choke, back up, back up, back up. Yeah. They don't take any kind of damage here, and they just push with Baron.
I mean, okay, so say they backed up, they just kill Bjergsen from there.
And they don't have to. They probably couldn't kill Bjergsen. Bjergsen would probably run away.
Okay.
But they just stay in lane and they're able to push. And in this wide lane, they can't get this kind of AoE damage off.
Yeah.
So like just walking into that choke point.
I see.
It's game losing mistake. And also Licorice is on the other side, right? So it's hard for him to play with the rest of the team. Bjergsen instantly picks up Niski. The ult went on Sneaky instead. And then now he tags Svenskeren and coming back in.
Wow.
They killed the full team with Baron. They still had a minute on Baron. I promise you, if they don't die here, they would have gotten inhib and most likely the game too. So when we talk about like hero plays, like everyone's just talking about how well Bjergsen played, and this game was on Bjergsen like carrying the team. But a lot of it was on C9, and if C9 never walks into that choke, then we would be talking about how TSM got 3-0'd by C9, not how C9 got rebirth swept by TSM.
I see.
I cannot believe they made this comeback, and I cannot believe C9 fucking chased into this choke. It's so fucking stupid. People are blaming Niski for ulting the Jinx.
See, that was one of them where I was just like,
People are blaming Niski for ulting the Jinx, but that's not even the biggest problem.
Yeah.
The biggest problem was them walking into the choke. Now C9 still is in control of the game, but this is where like there is like momentum, and we're not playing with robots, we're playing with actual humans. So people feel a little bit more anxious and they overplay a little bit more when they fall behind in situations like this. Oh my. Remember what I talked about, like people being more anxious and they feel like they need to do more? This is like an example of it. Sneaky's someone that positions incredibly well in team fights, and you never see shit like this from him. But I think a lot of it came from mentally breaking down in that bottom fight and then this happening.
Yeah.
Pacific Finals as well. Cloud9 want to make this one another victory for themselves. They would love to close this chapter as a 3-0.
Oh wait, caster volume was on the whole time. I didn't even notice. I guess I'll keep it on because it was on. Sneaky making that mistake here, and then like game's over when your Jinx dies like that. Even when you get Jillian ulted. Oh, it was off the whole time? Okay, fuck, I'll keep it back off.
Here, I was gonna say, I feel like I would hear that. It wasn't there on.
But like, you can literally see the tilt happening. If a KD missed this fight on that, holy shit, that would have ended his career. You would need to listen to comp before judging whether or not that was a mental breakdown. Maybe, but I know players on C9 well enough. I know the kind of level of play that Sneaky brings up and the kind of mistakes that he makes or doesn't make. Sneaky is way more likely to make mistakes in lane versus teamfight. Like, Sneaky is someone that positions incredibly well in teamfight. I think, like, with all the cumulative knowledge that I have, I think it's very easy to say that was Sneaky kind of tilting. Was this game more TSM and Bjerg playing out of their mind, or C9 screwing up a few plays? What do you think it was?
I mean, it seems like it's more... I don't know. I mean, I think it's definitely a huge factor C9 screwing up. But I also think that TSM is really capitalizing on those screw-ups really well.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not like a biased one side versus another.
I think it's a little bit of both, but I would definitely say it's C9 screwing up more. Like, them chasing into that choke was game losing, especially when you have Baron. Like, just that play is inexcusable. And then now they're on Elder. Let's walk through this. This is probably the last fight of the game. What do you think are key things to highlight here?
Well, I'm trying to see where everyone is. Well, they have two, like, Smoothie and Bjergsen are coming in from two different angles.
Yeah, this is fucking, like, Bjergsen and Smoothie being here.
Yeah, and they're the best engagers,
yeah.
So
them being on flank
good.
Angles.
And then if they do push up, they push them into the choke point, but right now they're pushing...
So right now,
C9's pushing in.
C9's like the better teamfight team, so they can actually push in like this.
Yeah.
And I would like Smoothie walking all the way around a little bit like that and actually getting the flank off, where he has to go for more of a direct engage, but it's possible because he has flash.
Yeah.
And then Bjergsen waited in the choke, or waited in the shadows, and he's getting a flank on Licorice. Bjergsen does fucking play out of his mind this game. But these like little things, right? Like waiting in the side, like waiting for people to engage first and going in together, like that's what makes Bjergsen a really good playmaker, a really good engager. That's what makes Smoothie a really good engager. It's not the the execution of how they do it matters, but how much thought they put into it before and positioning it in the right spot. Oof. Now, Elder Dragon, so they were at least able to get the Elder Dragon, so they'll buy a little bit more time, but they're losing the team fight, and it's just so hard to play versus a fed Akali. Remember how we talked about Akali when she's in the middle of the team fight, and she's actually using her Shroud, and she has stuff like Zhonya's, it's hard to deal with. Like, Bjergsen is God mode right now, Zhonya's, Morelos, Deathcap, Gunblade, like, you can't ignore him, and you can't even kill him. The only way they can kill Bjergsen is if they lock him down before he uses Shroud or Zhonya's, and that's going to be near impossible. C9 trying to push their lead because they have Elder Dragon, and they need to wait for Baron, like 40 seconds up for Baron. They take Baron, and they can have a second shot at winning the game.
Who is the shot caller on C9? Is that mainly Zeyzal?
Yeah, Zeyzal talks to us.
Yeah. I love hearing the comms because he's always so calm with it.
Yeah. Zeyzal's actually a godsend pickup for C9. Sneaky's just playing way far up. I can already feel it. We can go back to the little bit of the setup again, but look at Smoothie. Look at Smoothie really closely. So there's so many little things that Smoothie does well. So here, if you hug this left wall, you don't get spotted by a ward. Or you don't get spotted by the scuttle. So Smoothie's hugging this wall right here. So he's not getting spotted by the scuttle.
I see.
And he also has Trinket going around him, so he knows if he got spotted by a ward or not. So he's 100% confident that he can do this pathing without getting caught, and if he does get spotted by a ward, he'll know.
Okay.
So look at Smoothie. He didn't get spotted by a scuttle. He's not getting spotted by a ward. And then it's like he magically teleported here, right? But all this setup and every little thing that Smoothie does allows him to be here without C9 having a clue. So they're going on Bjerg. Impossible to catch. Smoothie gets a flank. That actually turned out terrible, but you can see how much thought the Smoothie put into actually getting the flank there.
Yeah.
It would have been better if he waited for the rest of his team, but the flank angle itself was actually really good.
Is it good? Oh, okay. Well, I guess
The angle itself.
They pulled up. Wait, no, they ran. Just kidding.
Yeah, the angle itself was good. The execution was terrible because it was just Smoothie Beer going in while the rest of the team was far away.
Yeah.
All right. Well, he hex teched over there. Okay. I didn't even realize how to get in the circle. Oh, so he didn't walk all the way around. He walked like this, and then he hex teched after the scuttle died. Okay. Oh, that's why he didn't have the hex tech for this. Yeah, the positioning itself was insane. It just rest of the team is here, and probably Bjerg got caught a little bit earlier than they expected him to.
Yeah. He
could have waited there longer and let rest of his team collapse though.
Well, do you think if Smoothie, so if Smoothie didn't flank there,
yeah,
and they killed Bjergsen, do you think they could have killed Smoothie and then ended the game?
If Smoothie didn't flank there and they killed Bjergsen,
because like all 4 went on a Smoothie.
So I don't think they could have ever killed Bjergsen because Bjergsen has his R, his E, his Shroud, and his Zhonya's. There's, I don't think, no feasible way for them to instantly burst down Bjergsen.
Okay.
So I think they could have waited. I think Smoothie could have waited and let rest of TSM catch up into Baron and then kind of collapse them.
Okay.
He was just very early to pull the trigger. Oh wait, what the fuck is this fight? Oof. Good teleport from Bjerg. And then another, like, Smoothie does this so much, right?
Yeah.
He's always in, like, random spots when he pops up.
Yeah.
And you can see, like, how he was able to do that here. I didn't see the lead up for this, but this kind of play isn't easy versus pro teams who are warding well. Mm-hmm. Like, the fact that Smoothie is able to pop up from random spots is a really, really special thing that very few supports can do. Mm-hmm. And it's what makes Smoothie really special. Q, able to pop the Jinx. Now Jinx, Kench has to use both Flash and W to save the Jinx, so that gets rid of one tool. Bjergsen never gonna die. And then now Sneaky caught off to the side.
They have to rid their Flash, holy crap, actually.
Just really look at Bjergsen in this fight if you want to look at someone doing crazy shit. So Jarvan goes on in, Bjergsen E's out. Shroud, Sneaky in a really shitty spot, right? Bjergsen's right in the middle of them. So Svenskeren EQ'd here preemptively because he thought Bjergsen would R on top of Sneaky.
Yeah.
And then now it's Ben going on Sneaky. Bjergsen just staying in his Shroud, using Q, picking off Zazo, picking off Nifki, cutting them off from Sneaky. Zben actually did hella damage here and he stayed out of distance. Really good for him. And then
he could just clean up.
And then eating backboard and then using Zhonya's. Bjergsen just does so much in a fight.
Yeah.